And welcome to the final Indieventure of 2025. I'm your host, Rebecca Jones, joined by my two festive and merry co-hosts, Rachel Watts.
Hello!
And Liam Richardson.
Hello, ho, ho.
Yes.
Yes.
You know what? I almost did that last
festive?
week and then I bottled it at the last minute, so I'm really glad someone had the heart to make the joke. That's really good.
My wife walked past the door there and shook her head at me. How's that for an in-person review? Jesus Christ.
Incredible. We're off to such a great start. As regular listeners will know, our final episode before we take a little winter break is always dedicated to our indie games of the year. But fun fact, this is usually one of the formats that has a bit of a wider reach. So if you're new around here, welcome. Glad to have you with us. And or I'm so sorry for the 2 hours of nonsense that are about to ensue. And if you listened to last week's episode, you'll know that we had our traditional group therapy session where we aired all of our feelings about this year in the games industry. Yay.
Yeah.
Yay.
But with that handily acknowledged, we can now focus on the fun stuff, the games from this year that brought us the most uncomplicated joy, held our attention for hours on end, and maybe even changed our lives for the better. As has become our tradition for the past 3 years running, and side note, I still can't believe we're on episode 52. That's a full year's worth of a weekly podcast. It's that's so weird.
This is our 4th Game of the Year episode.
Oh my God, of course it is.
Because we did the first ever episode of
Season
Indiscovery was
0
our
started on a game of... I had forgotten that.
Wow.
This is our 4th one.
Okay.
Isn't that wild?
My God.
That is incredibly wild. Yeah. Okay, then. As has become our tradition for the past 4 years running, each of us has picked our top 5 indie games released from this year with total honesty that encompasses both industry-defining trends and admitted heart picks. So without further ado, I'm actually going to break a little personal rule here and request that I go first, because I feel like my first pick is a good sort of jumping off point from last week's episode.
Yeah, absolutely.
Go for it.
The first game that I want to talk about for this Game of the Year episode is the sequel, or a sequel, to one of my favourite games, Monster Prom 4 MonsterCon.
Let's go to the con, come on, monsters bring it on. It's time to make it fun, it's time to make it right. I said it, let's go to the con, nothing can stop us. And you know we're gonna make it right, we're gonna make it whole. There are all sorts of stands, come take my hand. Let's overspend, on demand, there is nothing you can do. Let me become your stand, #1 fan. This is our chance, there's no romance. There is nothing you can do to me. Monster, 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 monster. Yeah. I'm a nerd, I'm a weeb, everybody clap with me. Monster, 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 monster. Yeah. I'm a weirdo, I'm a geek, come with me, we'll feel complete.
And yeah, I don't know if I've ever really made this clear on the podcast before, but it's a bit of a personal rule usually that I don't put sequels into Game of the Year lists unless it's a sequel from a franchise that got me into the franchise. So I've put Baldur's Gate 3 in before, I've put Animal Crossing New Horizons in before, but crucially I hadn't played any games in those series prior to playing those, and so that kind of they were my inroads to the franchise. Same with Great Ace Attorney when we did that year. That was my first Ace Attorney game. This is kind of a first for me, but based on the discussion that we were having in our last episode, which I recommend you go and listen to, I think we really had some interesting chats in that. Sorry, it's a bit of a downer, but there's some good stuff. We kind of talked about the fact that maybe one of the big indie trends this year was sequels, which did get me thinking about the fact that I was just kind of following that rule that I'd set for myself without really questioning it. And maybe it's, it's always a good time to be reassessing how we look at things. And to be honest with you, yeah, the new Monster Prom game, unsurprisingly, because it's me, is one of the indie games that I've played most this year. But also it is different in the sense that up until this point, although I've played all 3 games up to now, and I've enjoyed them all a lot, I would still have recommended that a new player start with the first game. Whereas now, I think genuinely, if someone were to ask me, I would say start with 4, which I think is a big enough shift in my feelings towards this franchise that I kind of wanted to talk about it more. And this episode is a good opportunity to do that. I think that, Monster Prom 4 has really refined mechanically what the game has always been good at in terms of the art. But there were always these frustrations. So yeah, recapping. I'm really bad at recapping because like Monster Prom is so part of what I do every day.
It's
I forget that
part
not
of your
everyone
being.
knows what it is. It's a multiplayer party game dating sim with cute monsters in a wacky fantasy setting. There have been 4 games, as the name suggests. There are planned 6 altogether. There's a really diverse and lovable cast who are all terrible, but in kind of an endearing way. I've been following this series since 2018 when the first game came out. And yeah, I think that the first game obviously was the game I fell in love with the whole concept and introduced all the really iconic characters. The second game came out in 2020 and I do like it, but I think that it's probably the weakest just because mechanically it's very hard to get to grips with. There's no save function. The stories are super long, so you have to be prepared to sit through like 3-4 hours in a single sitting, which is like just, that's a hard recommend. The third game is fantastic, but it is a different genre entirely. It's a sort of management sim survival thing. Whereas this one, yeah, it's like they've brought in all the really good things that they've introduced over the previous iterations. The mid-run save, the fact that their estimated playtimes actually match what it's going to be if you're playing in a group with people who might not have like an in their head reading speed. The comedy is really on point all the way through. I don't think there are as many weak storylines. And despite the fact that they took the controversial choice of introducing a mostly new cast, it really paid off. I'm not just here to talk thirsty talk about the clown girl, but also the clown girl.
I was going to say clown girl.
I love her so much. April 1st, I love you.
April 1st.
So yeah, when we were talking about things like, when we were talking about things like Silk Song and Hades 2, Citizen Sleeper 2, how many sort of iconic sequels came out? Obviously, this is flying under the radar a bit. Obviously, this is more of a heart pick and a personal thing. But in terms of a year in indie games that was actually defined by some really strong sequels, I'm like, this does deserve a mention, I think. And not just because I would always put Monster Prom in my list, because I wouldn't, because I don't usually put sequels in. But this is the exception. Also, April 1st. I love her. I think that's kind of all I need to say on this. It's like I've talked a lot about this franchise on the podcast before and people kind of know I love it and know why I love it. But I do think it is, I'm updating my recommendation. I'm now saying start with 4. Also because I think that it's moved the setting on a bit from the sort of high school setting to more of a generic kind of like young adult setting. And while the joke was always that the characters were in their 20s anyway, I'm like, it kind of doesn't need to be in a high school at this point. You can just have it, be people, living their lives, having fun.
I think something as well, like, maybe we could put this at the top of the episode, but we could also put it here. So Monster Prom is like your 5th pick, would you say? Like your number 5 out of 5? Was it always going to be in your top 5? Or was it a late entry? Or like, how did you both, maybe we'll round robin this quickly as well. How easy was it for you to pick your top 5 games this year? So starting with you, Rebecca, and like with Monster Prom and your other games as well, without spoiling anything.
Fair enough. 4 and 5 were a matter of actually looking more honestly at what I'd been playing this year and trying to think about, like, in terms of just games that kept drawing me back. My top 3 have been locked in for months.
Oh, really? Yeah.
And for 4 and 5, I was like trying out a lot of things and I was picking up a lot of things and being like, what really speaks to me? And I'm like, well, the things that really speak to me are probably the other 2 games that I have gone back to multiple times throughout the year. So, like I say, it's being a bit more honest, and it's also saying, hey, it's actually worth revisiting this franchise and not just kind of like assuming that I know where it sits in my, my enjoyment of indie games. So,
how about you, Liam?
Well, as a small aside, when I was Googling Monster Prom 4 there while Rebecca was talking, the recommended Google's shopping items were a 4-pack of Monster Energy Lando Norris Zero Sugar and Metroid Prime 4 on the original Nintendo Switch.
Wow, that sounds like a good evening.
Yeah.
The last 2 years, I think I said this last week, have been tough to try and get the top 5 in place. I felt like I had a 1 and 2 and then 3, 4 and 5 were in flux. This year has been the hardest in terms of I wanted to squeeze in 4 other games but couldn't.
Okay.
So I've done a little bit of tactical choosing for mine because I know that you, Rachel, have picked something else that I wanted to talk about but kind of didn't want to put in my list. So something else has managed to squeeze in as a result of that. But yeah, it's been tough, been a tougher one for me than usual, I think.
Yeah, that's a good point. I actually did do a little tactical
Did you both? Oh my god,
yeah.
you both.
Yeah, there was some stuff that I definitely knew that you were both going to talk about, and I was like, I can probably, which I'm sure will come up at the end, but yeah.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
We'll dip into each other's choices and stuff. For me, it was like I had a top 7-ish. And so I always knew my fifth choice almost and my first choice, but it's that middle ground. It's that middle
that's
ground.
interesting.
And some of them are similar genres, and I was like, well, I should probably try and only pick one of that genre because like that would be my like I like to think of it that way. I like to get a good spread. And yeah, two of the picks that didn't make it into my top 5, they're not going to be in this podcast at all. So I'm sad. Maybe there'll be one from there'll be ones for a postcard or a blog entry. But yeah, I think it was tough for me when it's like when it got down to for me, those 5 and then picking 3 out of the 5. That was painful. It was a painful process. But last year, I've said multiple times on the pod, like a lot of mine were locked in May onwards. But this year is very much like, there was those 2 that have been knocked out. We are talking about one. I'm being silly. So it's just one. Just one that didn't make it, which is Ball Pit, which we're not going to talk about today.
Yeah,
so
which I was really surprised at. I really thought both of you guys.
Yeah.
I think that's not a slight on Ball Pit. It's
no.
proof of how good this year's been.
Yeah.
Because I really liked that game.
Me
Yeah,
too.
it was just-
Yeah.
But in terms of upsets in the rankings, I think Ball Pit not making it is probably the big shock.
Well, I mean, we are the podcast that didn't put Balatro in our Game of the Year conversation last year.
So
And I
Just
do it
saying,
again. And I do it again.
yeah, we're rogue.
Roguelike.
Indeed.
Anyway.
Yeah, I was going to say.
No, we have new listeners. I have to be on top 4.
Oh, God. Quick, redo the joke.
Rachel, right, you know what's going to bring them back on board, Rachel, is your next pick, so maybe we should go to you.
Before we completely move on as well, in terms of like it being technically the 4th entry in the series, is this the first time? So with 2 and 3, when they came out, would they not be in your top games of the year? Is it? I think I'm trying to ask if a Monster Prom will always make your top 5 of the year, or if Monster Prom 4 and 1, I'm assuming, is unusual in that they were the best of the best.
So I think 3 was in my top 10 for the year it came out, which is 2022, but not top 5. And honestly, 2 I do like, but I like it less. It's still great, but it might not have made my top, because like 2020 was quite a strong year for games. I had a lot of games.
Yeah. So
it might, I don't know. I didn't do a complete ranking for 2020 because I wasn't in games media like officially yet, but the back of the envelope thing is like maybe top 15.
Right. So it's for
2.
you in this series then, this is like one of the best ones you've played for a couple years. Well, since maybe 1, potentially then.
Yeah,
Wow,
I mean,
that's cool for you.
It's really great. Oh yeah, I'm enjoying it. So I really like 3, like I say, but it's a very different genre and it's like a different prospect to kind of come to it. But yeah, no, I think they've just refined everything they're doing, and fair play to them. I was a bit unconvinced when they're like, we're going back to the original format. I was like, oh, okay. I thought it was cool how you kind of had some ideas to mix up the genres a bit more. But no, the mad lads, they pulled it off. So fair play to them.
Right, shall I do my pick? My
Yes,
first,
please.
Yes.
my
Let's
number
do it.
5.
Please do.
My number 5 of 2025 is Peak. Peak! Does Peak have music in it?
Yeah.
Well, if not, let's just have you go.
Yes, it does. So yeah, mine is Peak. And this is one for me that was very, I think with co-op games, it's very much for me, I'm not a multiplayer girl. I don't play a lot of multiplayer games, and rarely, kind of similar to you, Rebecca, with sequels, rarely do they make it into any sort of like my top games, like top 10, top 15, like ever. I'm just not that kind of player. But Peak has absolutely just been such a through line of my year this year. It's a co-op climbing game where you, a group of friends, all go into a same server, and every day a peak is generated, and you have to climb it. You and your friends have to reach the top. It's structured into different biomes. There's a mixture of 3 random biomes which you can get, and then it always ends with the last 2 biomes being the same. And they've added new biomes. This is by Aggro Crab and Lamfor. This is a collaboration between the 2 studios. They've brought out new biomes. They've brought out new items. And I've just been loving this game. And I just love the slapstick element of it. We talked about this last time in the last episode as well. Good episode. But I think there's just something about Peak that captures the silliness, the mischievousness of just fucking over your friends. That is just so much fun. Like, again, like we talked about in the last episode, I'm going to be repeating myself a little bit. Like, I like horror co-op games because I'm a big wimp. So that aspect I've always liked playing cooperatively. And I think the big successes with Phasmo and other kind of games was that, in that respect, is that like you're looking for your own kind of fun. Like, of course, you're trying to see what kind of ghost it is and all that business. And Lethal Company. But ultimately, you're there because those games are a bit janky, they're a bit funny, and there's a lot of, like, comedy to have out of them. And I think Peak recognized this because Landfall are the people who did Content Warning, the multiplayer game where you're, like, trying to make a viral video, horror adjacent as well. And I just think that and the cuteness that Aggro Crab bring, they are the developers of Going Under and Another Crab's Treasure. So they have like the cuteness, and Landfall had the multiplayer aspect. And together you just get this very cute, wholesome, cooperative, but also very goofy co-op game. And it's just so much fun. It's the most fun I think I've had in a game this year, maybe bar one of the game we'll talk about a bit later. There's so much joy to be had in just climbing this mountain, seriously or not so seriously. I just love that they really understand how like people want to play games with each other. Like even the idea of like when you die in Peak, you come back as a ghost, you can still like help your friends. Like that is so smart. Like no one gets left out. Everyone gets involved and included. I just think it does a lot of really smart things with multiplayer, and everyone I've played it with has had a great time. Like everyone has come away with stories. Like we on the podcast, along with Bestie Ed, have had really good times playing it. Like the one time we played it was just we talked about this like highlight of the year in terms of like playing games with others.
Yeah.
And I've had that so often with this game. There's just something really like fun, but also I don't want to just disregard that as it being goofy. Like it's smart. The way it's structured and the way it's designed, it just encourages a kind of playfulness with you and your group of friends. And it's just great. I like this aspect of problem solving, but also problem solving in the way that doesn't take... It's not like an escape room. I've done escape rooms with friends online where you feel a bit like... If you can't solve a puzzle, you feel a bit, I don't know. Or like a horror game where you get... like it's a skill focus. Like there is sort of skill in Peak, but it's not really a skill game. Like, okay, there's experience in climbing mountains and stuff, but like ultimately it's not really about that. It's not really about like... getting to the peak. It's just about all the goofy fun times you can have with a group of friends. And yeah, I've just really enjoyed it. And I think when I look back on 2025, I think this is the game that I will keep playing for years. Like all the other games, I think I'm pretty much done with them now. I'm like, okay, I understand. This is one where I'm going to be playing over Christmas. I'm going to be playing into next year. I'm going to keep returning to Peak like with groups of friends. I think it's great. Love it. And it's so popular as well. Everyone knows Peak. Everyone loves Peak. Peak.
Absolutely. Peak. I think it's really interesting that this is the first game to ever get into one of our Game of the Year episodes that we've all played together. I'm pretty sure.
Woo, yes, true.
Like that feels like a really special moment. That and the fact that both of us have kind of broken an unspoken rule with our first picks is interesting to me.
Like I just never considered them. None of them had really affected me. I'm very much a story-driven person. A lot of my picks this episode are going to be because the stories are good. This one, like, I don't know, it just, you create your own story, your own narrative arcs, your own revenge stories, you know?
Emergent gameplay. I love it. Yeah.
Wow.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
I think if this game is so important to the story of this year in indie games, as we discussed last episode. But I think more than that, like you say, it's very important to your story when it comes to indie games this year, because you have lived and breathed this game with multiple different people. And like you said, I think you said this last week, like, doesn't matter who you play it with, you have fun, you get emergent stories out of it. Yeah, I'm really happy to see this here.
Yeah.
And it's something I've only ever played with you two.
Yes.
It's a game I've had an enormous amount of fun with this year too.
You know, I just want to say this really quick. I still think about you yeeting yourself off that cliff, Liam, and I just burst out laughing randomly. I know it was like 5-6 months ago, but I can still have a completely like clutching my sides laughing fit just remembering that.
Oh, that was so funny.
Incredible.
When I was like, check this out, and barely made it a third of the way.
I think I can make it.
Just like arms outstretched.
Yeah, and watching you from across the way, it was so clear that it was not happening.
Yes.
One of my greatest moments.
It was
What a
it was
game.
fantastic.
Oh.
What a game. Hello, listener. My microphone stopped working and we've had 20 minutes of a break, and now I have to hold these two on my iPad while I read notes from my iPad, which means that they're looking at me. Yeah, I'm wiggling it around as I read my notes. Right, that was very stressful, but we're back. We're here.
Yeah, so
we're
back.
talking about indie games. Sorry if my
enjoying-
audio sounded terrible for the first half an hour. It's because Windows
It's
sucks
shit.
ass.
Yep, fuck you, Windows.
Right.
Don't need this at Christmas.
Yeah, it's Christmas. Bill.
Yeah.
Billiam Gates. What are we doing here?
Bill Gates, why?
Bill Gates, why? That's my
Why?
Bill Gates conspiracies. He just doesn't want us to record this podcast.
Specifically, he's like, you know how we got one-star review one time? Bill Gates.
It was him.
Yeah. It was him
Bill.
all along. That explains why it was B Gates 95 after Windows 95, I assume. Right. Fuck all of this. My number 5 is
So funny.
The Seance of Blake Manor.
We need a fucking seance. We need an exorcism.
do need a fucking seance. This has been... Oh, this recording is going off the rails.
The ghost of Liam's microphone.
Hello? Are you here? Seance of Blake Manor. This is a very late edition for me. I finished this game last night.
Oh,
We
you
spoke
finished
about
it?
in-
Amazing.
I finished it yesterday, yeah. So I really ummed and ahed about adding this into my list because it just... I was worried about recency bias. I didn't know whether maybe the other game that I dropped in favour of this is actually better, but I've reflected on it all day and I think this game is really special, and I think I enjoyed it so much that it only feels right to put it in here. And also, as mentioned earlier, Rachel is talking about the other game I ditched, so I can kind of get a cheeky extra one in by jumping in at the end of when she articulates why that's so good. So this game is by Spooky Doorway, who used to make a series of games called Dark Side Detective, which was sort of a lesser known niche detective game series. Seance of Blake Manor is only available on PC at the moment, but I'd be very surprised if it doesn't come to consoles at some point. This game is set in the 1800s. You play as a detective called Declan Ward, and you are summoned to this big mansion called Blake Manor to look for a missing woman called Evelyn Dean. When you arrive, you find out that there are maybe like 16 to 18 people in this manor, 4 or 5 people who work there, and the rest are all there for a seance, which takes place on the Sunday. Your goal is to try and figure out what happened to Evelyn Dean, and also investigate all of the people in the mansion to also just figure out what is going on with the seance and what's brought everyone to this place for the weekend. It takes place over Halloween weekend. You arrive on the Friday night and the game unfurls in real time, as it were. Every time you investigate something, every time you look at an object, every time you talk to someone, the game progresses by a minute, with some exceptions. Things like talks by other guests can increase the time or progress the time by about half an hour. First and foremost, this is an excellent murder mystery that I think unfurls at a masterful pace.
Yeah.
Considering it only takes place over 2 days, the way that the central mystery expands and reveals itself is absolutely fantastic. It got to I think one thing it really does that I haven't seen many people mention is you do the majority of the smaller side mysteries on the last day as well as the central one. So it kind of makes you feel like you've got a load of loose ends by the end of that first proper day, which makes you go into the last day with almost like this renewed vigor of like, I need to make sure I finish everything. And despite the fact that the game sort of proposes that you can't do everything with the time you have, I actually think you can, and I think the game encourages you to finish everything as well. Which again is a really nice little touch. That time system, I just think it recontextualizes what I'd probably describe as traditional point and click mechanics, because this isn't a deduction game like Obra Dinn. I think this is very firmly a point and click adventure. Do you agree with that, Rachel?
That's really interesting you say that, because I have also been thinking about because I agree with you with that, because I think it is a deduction game in terms of like, you do need to initiate talking to people and show them the right thing. But in terms of the way that it guides you to do that, it doesn't feel very detective-y. It rides that line really, really carefully. Like, I feel smart, and then I'm like, oh, I did that, and I chose to go here. But actively, the game is like very hands off, but in a very subtle way is guiding you. So I think I would agree with you for sure that it is definitely more. Unfortunately, our point and click expert didn't have the time to play.
I did
We
play
need to get the Rebecca take at some point.
Yeah, I played the first couple of hours, and I do think it has a lot in common with the classic point and clicks that I kind of grew up on. As I mentioned before, and I'm sure I'll expand upon in the future. It's got very, very Last Express, very sort of like classic late 90s. Like, I do agree. It's more point and click than not. I am not yet sure on the deductive level of it, but definitely a point and click in my opinion.
Yeah, I think it does a very good job of masking as a detective game, in the sense that whenever you speak to people, whenever you pick up evidence, it fills out this mind map that makes you think that you are deducing things in real time. And it does also have a Mad Libs Golden Idol style mechanic where when you do a hypothesis, you've got to drag in information you've learned into a series of gaps. But I think in general, it's almost more like a visual novel and a point and click than it is a deductive game. But all that being said, I think actually it's quite nice playing a game where you don't have to use all of your brain to see it through.
True. That is true.
It's a very chewy story that guides you through and has just enough interaction to make you feel like you're an active part of this investigation. But I think the one thing that I will say that absolutely drew me in and made me love this game, and it's the reason why I didn't pick the other game, which we'll get to soon, is it has this incredible sense of place. Blake Manor feels like a real location. Everything has been laid out in a way that makes sense. The fact that all the guests have timetables and will move between different rooms in a realistic way is just really, really compelling. And it sounds fantastic. It has a really haunting soundtrack. The sound effects of when you're walking around are amazing. And the voice acting is absolutely incredible. And just being around this cast of people, these kooky mystics and druids and local scholars who love mythology, a priest who in the in the post-credit scene is wearing what looks like a modern outfit, which really got me, even though he's like 100 years old. I just really learned to love this place and everything that occurs within it, and I think it's a really special game, and it's definitely deserving to be on this list, I think.
100%. This is the one that I booted for another detective game, which I'll talk about a bit about later. But I totally agree with everything you said. It's just such a approachable. Yes, I guess it. Yeah, in some ways, it's not a deductive detective game.
Duck detective game.
Duck detective. But I do think there are elements to it where you could find yourself not solving every mystery, which makes me feel like, well, is it a detective game? Because there you can miss out on certain things if you don't time it too well. But that would be quite difficult to do, I think. For the time constraints, you're given quite a lot of time to do a bunch of different things. And I don't know. I think point and click is I think that's a really astute observation in terms of it definitely feels more like that. Visual novel? Maybe not so, I don't know. It's interesting.
It's definitely not a visual novel. I think it's more visual novel than it is deductive. But I think the reason why I think it's a point and click is because the only thing I had to Google one thing in this game, and it was and this is what makes it a point and click in my eyes, is I hadn't clicked on one bookcase to find a piece of evidence that let
I know
me
exactly
make
what
a
you're talking
hypothesis.
about.
Yeah, even though I knew exactly why this character was behaving the way they were, because the game wouldn't let me do the puzzle until I clicked on the specific thing, even though the game's hint system did not direct me towards it, and even though I'd found the same object in another room and had found the thing I was looking for, it wanted me to look for the one specific thing to progress the story. And I think that bit is maybe its only flaw, is that it has that lineage to it. But I think if you go in it like that, if you don't go in it thinking this is an Obra Dinn, I think you'll have an amazing time. And I really, really did enjoy this game.
Yeah, I'm glad it's here. I'm very happy it's here. It's very late into the year, but as I was playing it, I was like, "Oh, this is so close to Game of the Year. Like this could be in my top." So I'm very happy to see it here.
Yeah,
it's a wonderful game.
I'm glad that we've got some later in the year games in here, because that's always the frustration, isn't it? That stuff that comes out in like November just gets completely lost in the shuffle. So yeah,
Absolutely.
I have thoughts, but I think I'm going to hold on to some of them because I think they will belong a bit later in the episode.
Interesting tease.
Yeah.
Well, it's time for number 4s.
It's going to be really annoying if I just forget and everyone's just left hanging.
Yeah, true.
But yeah, I'll sneak in my 4th pick now, I think. That's all.
Yes.
That's all
Let's
good.
go for it.
So yeah, the 4th game that I wanted to talk about, which is my second kind of very heart pick, and the second one that I included after some hindsight because I realised this was just a game that I played so much this year, is Nurikabe World.
It's a bit of a surprise, actually.
And this game came out, I think, in January, so I think it's been out pretty much all year. And it's a really simple puzzle game. And again, talking about like slightly unspoken rules that we've broken, it would almost never occur to me to put such a simple puzzle game into my top 5 games of the year, especially because obviously I love a narrative game. That's usually what I'm really drawn to, and most of my picks usually come from that. And this is so close to being the opposite of that. There is literally no narrative here. It is just you are playing a puzzle that was in its inception so simple that it was a newspaper puzzle originally. So Nurikabe is a kind of like Sudoku-esque pen and paper puzzle that was invented in 1990. And I think it was Japanese newspapers started carrying this like new puzzle page with Nurikabe on it. And the idea is that you have a grid of squares and you want to make islands on that grid with rivers sort of separating them. And there are rules. The rivers can't be pools, so you can't have a 4x4 pool. And there are certain conditions that the islands have to meet, so they have to be a certain number of connected squares. Is probably a very poor way of explaining it, but that's the sort of
I'm with you.
Picture a Sudoku grid, but you're kind of drawing a little map rather than trying to get the numbers to align.
Yeah.
And yeah, so traditionally, I guess it would be. I mean, I love traditionally because I feel like when we talk about like traditional pen and paper games, you start to think, oh, how ancient is this? And you're like, it's from 1990. It's literally the same age as me.
Yeah, let's not start calling things from the 90s ancient, if that's okay.
But yeah, traditionally this would be like a simple black and white grid, and it would just be like you'd be solving this puzzle and writing out. But the way that Nurikabe World envisions it is as these really peaceful and beautiful sort of Japanese countryside landscapes throughout the 4 seasons of the year. And that's kind of it. You get these cute little tableaux. They're almost like, I always think of them as sort of like snow globes in the way that they have this kind of like slightly moving. So like obviously there's a winter scene where it's all snowy, and there's, but there's also the cherry blossoms in spring. There's like sort of summer like fields of really lush grass, and then the harvest in autumn.
Very relaxing.
It's so relaxing. The music is beautiful. It's like taken this very simple game and just enhanced it with these gorgeous, very simple visuals that are just like such a delight to look at. And yeah, honestly, this is one of the games there is a daily puzzle in this game. You could theoretically play it every day. I have not managed to play it every day. I would love to, but I have so many things that I do every day as it is. it's so much. But I played it a hell of a lot.
You've got Love and Deep Space Daily.
Yeah, we all know what you're talking about.
I do got Love and Deep Space Daily. That's fine. That takes me 50. I think honestly, if this was a mobile game, this is my only complaint about this game, is if it was on my phone, I would play it every single day. It's the fact that I have to boot up a specific PC that I'm not always within reach of, that I don't play it every day. But still, I've put, over a dozen hours into it, which when you think about the fact that it's a pretty straightforward, like you get 3 daily puzzles, I think, that's a lot of checking back in with this, just because it is such a nice, peaceful time. And I do enjoy puzzle games, but this one has kind of spoken to me in a way that no others have for a really long time. And I kept thinking all through this year, I've been like, I am loving this game. I'm enjoying it so much. It's kind of going to be like probably the honorary mention number 6 in my list. But actually, when I looked at it, I was like, I've just enjoyed it so much. I've played it so much. I don't usually put stuff like this in the top 5, but I really think it's deserving. If I want to just talk about games that I love this year, then to not talk about Nurikabe World would be a real shame. I would recommend it to just anyone. I'm not particularly good at all the things that Nurikabe World is testing you on, like spatial awareness and mathematical ability, but I still love it. So if you are in any way better at those than I am, you'll surely have a great time. And it's so peaceful and so pleasant. And there is that sense of accomplishment when you finally crack a real hard puzzle. It's just so nice. It's just so nice. It's the sort of, I want to live in that world, but it's just this little grid of islands and rivers, which is quite odd, but still so nice.
It sounds like Dorf Romantic in that sense.
Yes, there's something so like peaceful about the rhythms of, like, you have the same puzzle multiple times and you're just kind of like going through the motions of each one and you're getting aesthetically rewarded. Oh, it's kind of like Squeakcross, actually. I'm surprised Squeakross wasn't in your...
that's so true. That is so true.
My relationship with Squeakross this year is too deranged and too awarded.
This is wild.
It would be...
But with puzzle games like that, it's so nice just to like slip back into something familiar, and it's like there's a comfort. Like I always think about like puzzle games like that, like knitting, like you're kind of doing the same thing over and over again, but there's a nice rhythm and repetition, and there's no surprises. There might be a little brain teaser every now and then, but ultimately it's just quite a nice laid back experience.
Nice metaphor. Do you write for a puzzle website or something?
But this is one I've had my eye on as well, because Rebecca, you've talked about it multiple times this year. I feel you've talked about Nurikabe World. Yeah. So, and that's credit as well with puzzle games. When a puzzle game just does one puzzle over and over again, but you enjoy it so much you play hours of it, that game is doing something correct.
Oh, yeah. And
100%.
As we've established, that's usually where I drop off a puzzle game. So the fact, I just think it's the visuals.
Me too.
It's just like the visual and the Plinky Plinky Spa music. I just love Plinky Plinky Spa music. So like a gentle, soothing activity. It's so good. Like, yeah, I don't know. It's just... not usually my thing, but I was instantly taken with it when I first saw it at Indie Cup last year, and I followed it through it from like the end of its development, and into demo and into launch, and it's just really nice. There's not a lot else to say about it except it's just a nice chill time that I've enjoyed a lot.
It's a good time. Awesome, love that.
I'm glad it's here.
Yeah, it's going to look, one thing, it's going to look so nice on the header. That's like genuinely one reason.
Oh, yeah.
It's going to look
lovely on there.
So good on the header art. That's not a reason I put it in, but yeah.
It'll offset Detective Ward and his frighteningly high Widow's Peak, I think, to...
Girl, that Widow's Peak!
Before we move on to the next one, can I quickly point out that Rebecca is wearing the most Rebecca coded necklace I've ever seen. I think it's absolutely superb.
Oh yeah.
She's wearing like a little spooky ghost that's wearing a Santa's hat, and it's just so charming and so you.
Yes!
I just feel like the listeners need to know you're wearing it.
Oh, that's great. It's actually the first time I've worn it. So this was a Christmas present from friend of the podcast, Mick, last year, but because it was already Christmas, and because it's like a delicate little choker, it's hard to wear over a chunky Christmas jumper. But because we were having a distressingly unprecedented December heat wave, I'm not in my Christmas jumpers yet, so I thought I'd wear the Christmas ghost. Oh,
yeah, love it.
Thank you for noticing.
Yeah, we all really dressed up for this Game of the Year episode.
Hey, yeah, I'm wearing my Max Caulfield Jane Doe t-shirt as well. You probably can't see.
Hell yeah.
I love it.
And I'm wearing my Video Games Ruin My Life cap, and Liam is wearing his
I'm wearing my overly large dressing gown that looks like the things that boxers wear when they go in the ring. It's how much it goes over my eyes when I wear it.
When we get to blueprints, oops.
That'll be me gone. I'm also wearing my very faded Star Wars The Force Awakens pajama top from Primark that I've had since that movie came out.
Incredible.
It's the biggest episode of the year, baby. What else are we going to wear?
Yeah. Oh, dear.
Right, so are we boomeranging it back to you, Liam, for your next pick?
Yes.
My number 4 is Skin Deep. Skin Deep, I got really into this earlier this year. This is by Blendo Games and is currently on PC only, which I think is an absolute crime, to be honest, especially considering it's published by Annapurna.
Oh, wow.
But I can see maybe why it is only on PC, because this is an immersive sim. And as people know, immersive sims don't sell. Games journalists love them. No one else does, apparently. This is a game where you play as Nina Pasadena, a mercenary for hire who goes into cryo sleep on spaceships until they are attacked by pirates, and then you are released from cryo sleep to save the crew of the ships. The crew of the ships are cats. You are an accurately modelled human being. You look like a human being. The cats are made of cubes, and it's very, very funny. They can talk, and every time you release them from their prisons around the spaceships that you're trying to liberate, they shout meow in a very sexual way, and meow appears over the screen. So this game is one of my classics. I always have one of these every year, as long-time listeners will know. This is the mechanics brain choice for me. This is a bite-sized sim that does everything you want an immersive sim to do, but in a very short runtime. You can finish this in about 10 hours. Levels will take you no longer than 20 to 30 minutes. Because it's an sim, this means that it can be approached in many different ways. It also means that it's very systemic. It means that when you're crawling through vents, you have a sneeze meter, and if you sneeze, the pirates can hear you. It means if you throw pepper at a pirate, they will cough and sneeze, and you can jump on their back and pull their heads off. Because the way that you try and get rid of pirates in this game is pulling their heads off. It doesn't kill them because their heads are connected to some kind of system that revives them if their heads float menacingly towards these revive pods. You don't wear shoes in this game because it's funny, I think. So when you walk over glass, you have to manually pull glass out of your feet.
Oh my god.
And that's just the top layer of mechanics that are in this game. But because these levels are so small, they act like brilliant puzzle boxes that can be solved in multiple different ways. So when I mentioned before about the pirates, how when you pull their heads off, it doesn't kill them. The way to fully kill them is to jettison them into space. And there's a few different ways of doing that. Opening airlocks and throwing them out, flushing them down toilets, putting them into rubbish bins. But trying to do that becomes more complicated as the game carries on. You need to find passwords to unlock these things, or maybe there's different layouts in the ships where maybe you have to go out into space to then break through another window or to sneak in from a different angle. And it just seems to do everything it wants to do with its systemic design, and then just finishes. It's like, yep, you've had 10 hours. That's kind of all we wanted to show you here. But if you're a ImSim liker, which I am, I'm not a sicko. I'm not a games journalist anymore, which is why I've had to hand in my ImSim sicko card. But I found things like Deathloop to be quite difficult to get into because the runtime was so long and it was so expansive. But what I like about this is, you can jump in for 20 minutes, save some cats with sexy voices, and then you're done. Which brings me to the final reason why I love this game, is that it's genuinely so fucking funny. Every cat you save, you then have email conversations with. The plot of this game is you're trying to find someone who looks identical to you, and it's because they're they're evil you from a clone dimension because you went through weird space, quote unquote, which split you in half.
As one
and
does.
just the writing is so funny, as one does, exactly. It's just a really great game. It has these like little vignette, like how do you call them? They're like little levels in between, like every 3 or 4 ships, where you go to like the evil henchman conference. And there's a few jokes there as you're walking around trying to find out more information, or you go on like a little spy mission that's just like a linear little bit of story content. But if you've played any of Blendo Games' there's other titles, like 30 Flights of Loving, I think, is the big one that they've made.
Oh, yeah.
That humour is still here, but they've just gone really deep on the ImSim concept, and the result of it is a game that is unlike anything else I've played this year, has gone criminally under the radar, I think because it's only on PC, and it launched at a really busy time of year. And I just think this is a really fun game that if it's on the Christmas sale this year, just pick it up and give it a try. I think it works great on the Steam Deck. Like I say, 10 hours, you'll finish it on during your time off. This is a really, really great game.
Oh, it's a very Liam pick as well. Like,
Yes.
like
It's
from the top of the entry, it's so
Yeah.
you coded.
Yep.
I remember you talking about this
Absolutely.
in an episode before in the year, and just that the content of the story just always gets me. Just so fucking good. Oh god.
It's just the best.
And I don't even think that's the most absurd game we're going to talk about
I
this
don't think
episode.
it is.
Nope. Absolutely not.
It's definitely up there though,
Yeah.
for sure.
Oh, I love
Yeah.
that we've got an ImSim in here as well. I mean, that's an
Yes.
unusual one to get in an indie game of the year list, but like,
It's kind of like, I feel like you get a lot of indie ImSims every year, and they're like the most hardcore thing you've ever seen. Like Cruelty Squad or Gloomwood. You get these ImSims that come out, and it's like, these are like deep things. Or like Weird West. Maybe Weird West is a good one.
yes.
Like,
yeah.
that's like the only way I ever want to experience those games is when Jeremy Peel does a write-up about them, because he's the ImSim guy.
Yes, he
And
is
I
the
just know
ImSim
that, like,
guy.
Yeah.
I will live through Jeremy Peel, but I'll never play those things. That's what I liked about this one, is that it's so accessible that even dum-dums like me can enjoy it for what it is.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. What a thing. What a thing.
Love it. And was that one always going to be on your, as soon as you played it, you were like, yeah, secured, locked in, top
That
5?
has been locked in since I
I
played
thought
it.
so. I thought so.
Mhm.
You were like, absolutely, in it goes.
The
Secured.
second I freed my first cat, I was like, this is my shit.
Oh,
Right.
back to me.
Indeed. And speaking of games that I feel like we're locked in quite early on.
Well, I don't know, because we had a little. A couple. Was it? Did we? What brain? I feel like maybe I said this on an episode or not, but I was wondering whether to put what technically is a DLC in my top 5. I was very much like. Well, I'll introduce first. So my next game is Golden Idol Investigations. Basically the 4 DLCs that were released for The Rise of the Golden Idol. And you'll have lots of creepy music to pick from because
Excellent.
it's evil. So yeah, like I was saying, I was very much like, do I put these 4 separate DLCs which were released at different times of this year that were sequels, prequels, all sorts of nonsense around a game that released last year? Like, how do I feel about that? And to be honest, I did have a long think about it. And like, kind of like with Peak, I'll just refer to the 4 DLCs as Golden Idol Investigations because that's kind of what they're kind of pouring them as. So I'm specifically talking about The Sins of New Wells, The Lemurian Phoenix, The Age of Restraint, and The Curse of the Last Reaper. And they released all throughout the year very strategically in terms of like every 4 months there'd be a new Golden Idol DLC to play.
Oh.
Nice.
So, and each DLC had 4 new cases. One of them had 5 new cases. So that's 17 new cases over the course of 12 months. Each case takes about 30 minutes to an hour, depending on how quickly you can kind of get to grips with the case. So it's basically an indie game. It's 17 hours
indeed.
of it's. So as well as Peak, this has been a constant throughout my year. Every time a new one comes out, I've gotten so excited about it. And not just that, they're all good. I'm actually so surprised at how Colour Grey Games can do this. Rise of the Golden Idol, fantastic. The Case of the Golden Idol, before that, fantastic. The DLCs for Case were great. And these ones for Rise, they're all just really good. Like, I've just enjoyed each and every single one. And the last one, Curse of the Last Reaper, was my favourite. So it ended on such a big bang. Nice. And was that because it called back to one of the best detective games ever made? Maybe. It is about pirates, after all, and merchants. But yeah, essentially, story-wise, Rise of the Golden Idol and Case of the Golden Idol follow the bloody history of this ancient relic, an idol that gives it's kind of a bit ambiguous, but it gives the wielder magical abilities or properties when you activate it in certain ways. So this whole world has kind of been developed from this one specific object. And they have just created not just like a moment in time, but like a whole history, like whole countries, different like politics, religions, spiritualities. It all comes from the idea that this item was found in like ancient times, and how its effect throughout history. It's an alternative history, basically. So that's all good. Love that. Brilliant. What Golden Idol does really well is that in other mystery games, like, there's always likable people. You're always like, I like this person. Oh, this detective is good. Everyone in the Golden Idol games are horrible fucking people. They are, liars, deceivers, like evil cultists, politicians, royals. They are all horrible people. And I think that gives the game an edge. There's always, each case always kind of has a bit of an edge to it, like a commentary on something or other. And I just fucking love that. It's a devious fucking game, and everyone is so hateful, and they've all committed these horrible bloody crimes, and it's just great. And it's like watching something like Succession. You fucking hate them all, and so you just revel in like how horrible and like it's so there's all that, and that's all great and amazing. So we have a great setting. We have horrible people, which we all hate and all die in various horrific different ways. But the puzzle and the detective work, there's a reason why we have the term idol-likes now. Yes, the games are coming out and they're saying this is an idol-like. Even Seance has a bit of an idol-like element to it. The whole fill in the blank 100%. Sentences. And okay, in Case, it was like, okay, I get case in point. There you go. In Rise, it was very much like, okay, I can see where this is going. But it's like they have taken this idea and it just keeps developing in really interesting ways. And it's just still fill in the blanks. But ultimately what is interesting is the way that Colour Grey Games has thought about different ways of killing people and how you as a player have to solve it is actually impressive, like masterful. I'm in awe. So just to give like a few examples without getting too much into it, there's one case where you have to just find out who was poisoned through different ingredients at a table of people. There's one where you have to interpret a secret message which is being told to you through interpretive dance. That one was really fucking good.
What?
There's language really deciphering. You have to interpret someone's drug hallucinations. You have to kind of interpret what they're seeing and what stuff represents. There's your classics. You got a locked room mystery. You got to decode messages. There's all that good stuff, but it's just there's so many different ways, and I just love it so much. And they just don't look like it's slowing down. And I'm just really surprised that how much I've enjoyed these games, how much I've enjoyed the variety of story and puzzle solving you have to do. I think I just want more. Like Golden Idol, I just want more. But sometimes when I play a game, and I might get into this later with Citizen Sleeper, I play a game and I'm like, good. If there's a sequel, whatever. Mm-hmm. Maybe it shouldn't. Maybe it should. With Golden Idol, I want more. I'm a glutton. I want so many more golden. I want them to never stop killing characters in horrific ways so I can solve it. Like I can't help it. Like they've set a precedent now. I want a third Idle game, and I want more DLC for it, and I never want it to end. And it shouldn't. And I don't want it to. And I need more. So, yeah, I think that's a good enough reason to have it in my top.
You've made a very thorough and compelling argument for putting it in the top 5.
Absolutely. I mean, well,
so fucking
I think
good.
it's maybe long overdue of us to acknowledge that sometimes indie developers are just releasing entire new games for their existing games year on year.
Yeah.
Like, this happens a lot. And I think the quality that Colour Grey have created with these DLC packs sounds like it absolutely should be given this spot. So I'm really happy that this is here for that reason alone. Like, yeah. Good for them. They're basically releasing like a periodical.
Yeah, true. It's like a saga, an anthology. And because it is like a whole history, there's so many different history and things you can spin out of it, stories and characters. Like, so yeah, I just Colour Grey games, more, please. I just want more of whatever horrible, nasty murders you have in the backlog. I'll solve them all, please. And
it
thank
feels
you.
like they just want to keep making this as well. So I imagine you will keep getting more of it. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, so that is That again wasn't one, like I said before, immediately that I was like, yeah, this has to go in. But I think I revisited some of them today just to lock it in. And I was like, that was a banger. Oh, that was a banger as well. Fuck, that was a really good one as well. And I think I'm going to replay them all, even though I know most of the mysteries.
Oh, wow.
I'm going to replay them all.
Wow,
yeah, because it's just the process of like, yeah. And the variety. Anyway, yeah. So
no, I get you.
Golden Idol Investigations. Absolutely. If you like detective games and puzzle games. It's very Christmassy. I feel like murder is very Christmassy.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Right, okay, never let anyone know that you
and puzzles,
love. Literally for Christmas a couple of years ago, I got a murder mystery Christmas puzzle novel from my partner's parents. It was like,
love that.
They exist because the intersection of these things is so...
Oh, she's off.
Like,
sorry, I wanted you to close the window.
Oh, okay. So you can come out with a copy of Myrtle, which I reckon probably all of us probably have, right?
I actually don't.
Oh, my dad has Myrtle.
I don't yet. I should.
Oh,
I should get it.
Of course, I'm the old man, that's why. Of course, the dad of the podcast has Myrtle in his house.
But yeah, super Christmassy. I totally agree.
So get on into it.
Nice.
Who's next?
Well, next, I think we're at our first game that garnered two votes. But interestingly, it's here rather than higher up because Liam and I both put it third on our lists, so it felt right to keep it at sort of the midpoint, I think.
It's interesting we both put it at number 3, actually. We should maybe examine why.
That is interesting. That is interesting. But do you want to introduce this one, Liam? And I'll kind of jump in.
Our joint number 3 is Wander Stop. Lots of lovely music to use for this one.
Yes.
So, Wander Stop is a game by Ivy Road, which is a new development studio that was created for the purpose of creating this game. It's spearheaded by Davey Reedon, who you might know from The Beginner's Guide and The Stanley Parable, Carla Zamonia, whose name I mispronounced so bad on that interview episode, and Carla, you're not listening, but I apologise anyway. You might know her as one of the creative forces behind Gone Home, and C418, I want to say, who's the musician responsible for the original soundtrack to Minecraft. This game follows a young warrior called Alta, who after failing for the first time in her life runs into the woods to try and find a master who can help her regain all of her abilities. She collapses in the woods and finds herself in a delightful little tea shop that's ran by the greatest video game character ever made. I'll delete Rachel's response to that. Called Borrow. And Borrow says that before she continues on her quest, maybe she should spend some time in the shop making tea. And the game sees you interacting with people who come into the tea shop, learning a little bit about their life and making tea for them by growing plants and brewing it in this fantastical, wonderful machine that sits in the middle of the tea shop. I am on record as to why I love this game, but I will talk a little bit about my journey with it since, because it has lingered in the mind a lot over the past 6 to 7 months. But Rebecca, would you like to jump in and just say what it was that you liked about this game?
So this game was a really interesting case of that feeling where you feel like a piece of art or entertainment is speaking directly to you. So I've probably alluded to this before, but I don't mind saying it here. When this game launched, I had been signed off work with stress. I was quite badly burned out from work. I took most of the launch month for this game, which was March. I was off work for most of that. And yeah, I played this game, which is about 13 hours long, maybe I'd say. I played it all in the space of a week, which is not something that I usually do under any circumstances. If it's a 13-hour game, it's usually going to take me a month minimum just to find the time. But it did really have that feeling of something that comes along at exactly the right moment to sort of teach you a lesson about your life in a way that almost feels like the universe is being a bit heavy-handed. Because, you know, the central theme of the game is burnout. The relationship between Borrow and Alta is very much someone trying to counsel someone else through burnout, which had a lot of relevance to what I was going through in real life right then. And I was also drinking a lot of tea and making a lot of tea. So, but just the process of doing something quite meditative and quite repetitive and like imposing a little bit of creativity on a process that was otherwise quite laid out in the way that you made the tea, in the way that you lay out the garden. And also, like, I guess there's a lot of lessons about learning to let go in the way that you'll just get the tea shop and the grove the way you like it, and then another status change will come in. Everything will refresh and be new, and you kind of have to... At first, it is frustrating in a way when you're playing that game, and then like the reflecting on why that's the case and why that's the right artistic choice for this game and like for the message that it's conveying is also quite important. And not to be too much of a downer, because I had a lovely time playing it. It was incredibly timely. It's probably of the 5 on my list the one I've thought about the least since, but that's not necessarily a terrible thing. You know, it's like it was very much of the moment. And just playing it, and when I got to the end, I was like, I knew that it was in my top 5 from that point onwards, from like mid-March. Yeah, and it is interesting because we have an interview that Liam did with some of the devs on the show around launch, and yeah, it's a shame to know that they were experiencing problems with burnout while making this game about burnout, but I think it does kind of go to demonstrate the kind of meta relationship this game has with the concept of burnout, specifically in the games industry, which obviously was like what I was thinking about a lot of the time. But despite all that, it's just genuinely a nice little management sim that you can beat in a dozen or so hours as well. So you can kind of engage with it on that very meaningful level, or you can just enjoy it more for the little cooking and management game that it is. I think both are valid.
Thank you for sharing why it was so meaningful to you. I think obviously we were talking about that a lot while we were playing it.
Yes,
and,
absolutely.
I think it's a very nice piece of context for you to share, and I think it really couldn't have come at a better time for you.
As I say, sometimes
in terms of the topics and themes,
sometimes the universe is not subtle when it pushes something towards you.
It's really not. I definitely went through a very similar emotional journey with it, but it's lingered in the mind more. So I think I mentioned this when I first played it, and this is the reason why it's at number 3 as well, because I think like objectively this game isn't maybe as much as a success as I wanted it to be in terms of some specific parts about it. I think the cozy side of it is challenging in that it challenges you to be bored and to make the most of your lot in a way that I think a lot of people weren't expecting. I think it maybe presented itself as something that it's not, that has led to some people not enjoying it. But for me, I think I've played very few games that have impacted me emotionally like this one did. I think its themes about searching for perfectionism at the expense of everything else in your life and only valuing yourself by the things you're capable of doing was something so powerful to me that I actually took the ending of this game to therapy, and it sort of led to a breakthrough for me in my own life this year that has been really profound and impactful to me. So I'm very, very grateful to the game for that, and for that reason. I think when I think of it, and I do think of it a lot and listen to the soundtrack a lot in particular, I get a very specific feeling in my chest when I think about this game, and it's one of like comfort and of like growth. And it's an interesting one because I think in many situations, like I think Edge gave this game a 6, and I don't really disagree with that take either. I just think, like you, Rebecca, we kind of like came to this game at a very specific point. For you, maybe a bit more obviously, and for me a bit more subtly, as to
Indeed.
the themes in this we needed. But I think of Alter and Borrow and their journey together a lot, and I'm very thankful that this game exists, and very grateful that I was able to talk to Davey and Carla as well, and hear their own stories, and predictably they were as open about themselves and their flaws and the things they're trying to work on as you'd expect from someone who made this game. So yeah, I think there's no way this was never going to be in my list. It's maybe the only one I didn't consider, like, can I drop that out for something else? But I just think if I had replaced this with Shotgun Cop Man, I would never have been able to forgive myself. So yeah, this is a really, really special game for me, and one I think that'll always have a place in my heart for sure.
Yeah.
I really like that one of my favorite episodes of the podcast this year is us talking about this game. Like
Agreed.
I like this game, didn't love this game as you two did, but I will always remember it because for me, talking about it on the pod with you both and the discussion we had about it was some of the most interesting like commentary for me, like us three have made about a game that all of us have played. We all have different perspectives.
Agreed.
And then you interviewing them as well. I just felt like it was like we talked about it, and then you talked to the developers, and it was just a nice duo. And I just really like that for the podcast. So I am happy to see this here because I know how much it meant to both of you, for sure.
Yeah.
So
it's definitely one of those that it just depends on the mood it struck people in, almost, I think, as well. And
yes.
I think so.
And I see what you mean. It's like probably objectively 7 out of 10. There would have been times in my life where I'd have played that and not felt a lot. Really, I don't think I'd have hated it.
Yeah,
but there's
a
definitely
6 is.
Six is rude.
I think that's right.
I think seven.
6 is quite.
It was low.
Yeah,
I think
too.
it was low.
Come
Definitely.
on, yeah.
Girl, Borrow, come on.
Yeah.
6?
I know, right?
Like, yeah. But yeah.
He wouldn't be angry about it though. That's the thing. He would just be like, he'd be all chill about it.
He would.
Borrow.
Yeah, he'd be fine. Yeah, he'd think that the
fine.
vast spread of review scores was good for a healthy media environment.
Yeah.
What I love, because I agree, I love that episode. It's the same reason why I love the Blueprints episode, is I think when we all play something and one of us doesn't agree, I think it leads to really interesting conversations. What I will say though is that you are like just not a shithouse like I am by the fact that you're able to be like, I'm glad this is here. I'm not going to give Blueprints out of as a joke. There's too much joke potential for me. Even though I was fighting for something that we'll get to later earlier.
That's so
sincerely.
funny with the context of the conversations we've been having throughout the day today. It's very funny.
Yes. Who next?
As Rachel, it's you.
Me! Right, yes. So my next game is Citizen Sleeper 2 Starward Vector.
Forget it has a subtitle. Like,
yeah, I do as well.
Yeah, so Citizen Sleeper 2 released right at the beginning of the year.
Oh yeah, it really was like January, wasn't it?
It was a while ago, and I didn't know I didn't think Citizen Sleeper needed a sequel. I was very happy with the first game. It was definitely one of my top games of whenever it came out, 2023? Whenever it came out. I loved it so much. And yeah, when Jump Over the Age said that they were releasing a follow-up, I was like, okay, all right. I mean, I'll pick up what you're putting down. And thank fuck I did! This sequel is so fucking good! Like, it's one of the best video game sequels I think I've, I don't want to say ever played, but it possibly very well could be. It's definitely up there. Citizen Sleeper 2 is in the same universe as the first game. You play as a sleeper who is a human mind embedded in like a mechanical cyborg-esque body, and it kind of takes place in this future where in the first game there was like an ominous corporation that was kind of controlling everything. In this sequel, that corporation is kind of gone. But kind of like how a dead girl haunts the narrative of a mystery game. Like the corporation's ghost is like hanging around in Citizen Sleeper 2.
Yeah.
And in my review for VG, which is one of my favorite reviews of the year I wrote, I'm going to quote myself because I'm that kind of person. But you know whale fall? When a whale falls to the bottom of the ocean and then it creates its own ecosystem when all all the fishes like eat off it. That's what the corporation feels like in Citizen Sleeper 2. Everyone is like scavengers, like eating off this dead giant. And it's about a group of ragtag people and them trying to survive in this not so glossy sci-fi future. And I fucking love it. I love this aspect of sci-fi that we're exploring in video games, in TV. I'm sure it's been around a while, but it's the first time I've kind of encountered it, where it's just like a group of nobodies just trying to like survive off the gig economy essentially, and there's no like super big battles or whatever. Star Wars. Oh, you're wearing a Star Wars t-shirt. Hello. Yeah. Hello. You're the problem.
I really am like presenting myself as a Funko Pop boy, and I really don't want to. It's just the only t-shirt I have.
So yes, you play as the sleeper. So the sleepers run off stabilizer, which is a game mechanic where your body will literally break down over time, and this game is an RPG, so you have action points and it will affect what you can do each day. If the first game was about you on one satellite, this game is about a sleeper who is on the run. You're constantly moving, you're jumping from satellite to satellite. There's a sense of like, you just can't stop or slow down, and there's like a tension in that, and like it's almost like kind of thrilling. Like I think a criticism of the first game was very much that once you kind of got your sea legs, you could like, you knew where to go for good money, you knew which people to rely on. In this one, because you're constantly running away and bouncing from place to place, it's like you're kind of in this sense of unease, exactly like how the sleeper feels. And I just think that's really smart game design. And not only that, another element which makes this game a lot more, let's just say, stressful is contracts. In this game, you can pick up contracts, and they are high risk, high reward missions, essentially, that you can do with your team, your ship team. And it is some of the most, maybe up there with Peak, with like thrilling, like nail biting, like experiences I've had this year with video games. I always remember there's one where you're trying to like drill into, you're helping water miners basically overthrow the cartel that owns them. Because all the stories in this game deal with like underdogs and like the worker, and it's brilliant in that respect. So you're drilling into this like meteorite, which is like all ice because you want to get to water, because water is a valuable resource now because you're in space. And just the ice breaking, and you and your actions and deciding where to break into the ice, and like it's all about decision making. And this is an RPG, so you roll dice and you attribute those dice to actions, and depending on how well you roll, like things can go terribly wrong but also really good. And also now that you have other people on your team to do contracts, they have dice which they need to roll. It's just, and then you can get stressed, and then your dice can break, and then it's like the mechanic of like your dice, if you take on too much stress, your dice break, and also you as a mechanical body, it's like you're breaking. And so that delicious mirrored image of like, my dice are broken, there's something wrong with my mechanical body, and like you need to go fix it. I just really like the stress of this game, and it's a good kind of stress. And that with the story, like the struggle, like a lot of times, like with video games and friction, I feel like, oh, friction is challenging and challenge is supposed to be fun. Okay, great. But when it's done well and it's like so ingrained with the story and you care about the characters, and it's just a story that I will not forget. And out of everything I've played this year, this is my favorite story. This is 100% my favorite characters, my favorite story, I just think there's something really special about this world. And Gareth, Damien Martin, they're not making a third one. They said that they are done with this world now. I think they might do like TTRPG and stuff, but in terms of video games, I think they're going to move on.
Yeah.
And this is just a group of people that I'm not going to forget anytime soon. I love them all. They all have, each person's story could be its own game. Like, it's so detailed and interesting. There's a biker girl, like an Akira biker girl who delivers stuff across different stations, and she's the coolest motherfucker ever.
On the little like sort of like push scooter, like the Blade scooter used to get in the mid-2000s. Yeah.
It's so fucking cool. And yeah, if you're into sci-fi stories about, you got your transhumanism, you got your anti-corp bullshit, and a group of people trying to beat the odds and just trying to survive. Love it. I had a really great time with this game, so much so that I played at the beginning of the year, and I don't think about it a lot, but when I get reminded of it, or when something reminds me of it, whether it be Andor Season 2 and how disappointed I was, I didn't watch it all, so maybe I should give it another go. But anyway, I'm always reminded of it. So I don't know. Citizen Sleeper 2 Starward Vector. If you like RPGs and sci-fi, play the first one and then play this one. Because you played this one, right, Liam? You were with me. We played it together, alongside each other.
So this is the game I was alluding to that I dropped for Seance of Blake Manor.
Oh, right.
And earlier, when I was doing my reflection, I was like, well, I think without the dice rolls, Seance lets you steep in the story and the world a little bit more. And because it's in a more contained space, whereas Citizen Sleeper is more vast and goes across multiple places, I almost like that it was smaller in scale. Predictably, now I've heard you talk about it, I think I've fucked up. I think this definitely should have been in my top 5. Because just you articulating and getting excited about it has made me remember how it felt to play this. And I still maintain that the best piece of writing I read in a game all year is when this game describes you meeting a cat that has adapted to living in zero gravity, and the way that Gareth is able to describe that encounter and how that animal moves purely in text, you don't see anything other than an image of a cat, is beautiful. And the game is full of moments like that. That is just one that's memorable. And I guess like I didn't include this because I was being cheeky and I wanted to have Seance and this in the list and knew that you would pick it, but this is a phenomenal piece of work. It
is
absolutely astounding in that no one else is writing
the writing
fiction
is so good.
like them. Yeah, it's incredible.
Like making a mechanical person feel so alive, like bodily felt, is just so. Oh, their writing is so amazing. Like, I think I must have said this before, but again, taking screenshots of video games is always like, this looks pretty, this looks nice. I felt like I was taking screenshots of like sentences and words and quotes.
Same.
All of my screenshots are just text. It's just all pure text. And like the way they describe things is so good. Yeah, fuck, this game is great. Love it. I love it.
It's amazing. Yeah, an absolute like stellar game for sure. No pun intended.
I was about to call you up on the phone. Darn it.
Hell yeah.
I'm really glad it's on the list. It's one I desperately need to play, of course. But yeah, I'm really glad that I think it would have felt incomplete. I think from January, I feel like we knew this was coming on the end of the year list.
You know
100%.
What? Like, it's funny because normally we're not a sci-fi. Are we really sci-fi people? But we've got two. We've got this and...
Yeah.
But with video games.
Yeah, no, the funny thing is I'm quite sci-fi a lot of the time, although admittedly maybe a bit less with video games, but yeah.
With indies, I don't think, there are some, don't get me wrong, there's a big, but I just don't know if, for me personally, apart from Citizen Sleeper, I don't know if I really dip into sci-fi a lot. I don't know.
I can't. Yeah, that's a really interesting point. This is where our listeners would be like, "You have spoken about 50 different sci-fi indie games." But it does feel unusual.
Yeah, please tell us in Discord, guys, if we've talked about.
I mean, I can already think of 1000 Times Resist.
No.
Signalis.
She's our game of the year last year.
Fuck me. Anyway.
Okay, no. Reel it back in. 2025. That's the challenge. That's the challenge.
2025. Yeah, 2025. Yep.
I know. No.
So.
Yeah.
I think for me it's because I think the last 2 years I have come into my sci-fi, same with horror, I think as well. And that's why I just automatically I don't think I would be a sci-fi girly, but now with Citizen Sleeper and Mouthwashing was another kind of really good sci-fi one I got into, Signalis and 1000 Times Resist. Like, I feel like in the last couple years, I feel like I've come into my own. I think I automatically think no, but actually, yeah. Anyway,
Signalis is in the vault.
I know. Oh, fucking hell. Anyway,
I'm with you there, though. I wouldn't have thought. I immediately was like, we never talked about sci-fi games. So there's something interesting. Yeah, there's something to that for sure.
I think it's because there's so many sci-fi games that kind of it's easy to kind of get lost in the very generic use of the genre, if that makes sense. There are a lot of games that I think that kind of get, I think that sci-fi can sort of be a setting that you use because of its familiarity, and that doesn't do a lot for me, and probably for you guys as well. That's not. I love a quirky, interesting bit of sci-fi, but at the same time, I'm kind of the opposite when I see the sort of generic military sci-fi kind of setting. So I do get it. I think it's like my bar, ironically, is lower for sci-fi than it is for fantasy, but still, I think that there's a lot that I just sort of filter out, and it's probably the same for you guys.
Interesting, yeah.
Oh man, I want to talk about sci-fi, but also I really want to talk about my next game that's not sci-fi whatsoever in the slightest.
Come on, tell us about your number 2.
The sci-fi book section.
Oh, that's true. That is very true, Rachel. Thank you for the segue. I was desperately trying to think of something. So my second place game of the year this year would be Tiny Bookshop.
I love that this is here because this concludes a little narrative arc of yours.
Yes, it does.
It being so high up.
So Tiny Bookshop has been on my most anticipated game of the year list for about certainly since we started doing this podcast, about 3 years.
12 years, I think.
Actually. I think I was, born from the womb wondering when Tiny Bookshop was going to be released. No, that is unfair. But it was like they were always very open about the fact that it's quite a small team, that it had quite a long development cycle.
Yeah.
They kept it in the oven till it was good and ready, and I'm so pleased with how it's come out. I think one thing generally that's come out of this year is that the demo curse thoroughly broken for me this year. I know that we often talk about when we've played a demo, we then get around to the full release, and even though the game's still good, we maybe feel almost a little bit like burned out already on the concept. I have only played 3 game demos this year. This is by the by on Tiny Bookshop, but I've played 3 game demos this year. I've played all the games and really enjoyed them. So that's kind of like reframing my relationship with demos. And the icing on the cake is Tiny Bookshop, a demo I first played at EGX 2022, which was the event that we all met at, or that I met you guys at. You guys have met before, but that we sort of all met at. I really enjoyed the demo that I sat and played on the show floor in 2022, and I've been following it through development ever since. And it came out, and it was, to quote Brooklyn Nine-Nine, everything I dreamt of and more. It was just such a lovely experience. So Tiny Bookshop is a management game. You play as a completely invisible, featureless protagonist, best represented by a car with a caravan attached to it. And the concept is that you've moved to this very peaceful seaside town somewhere in kind of Northern Europe. It's sort of a vaguely British, vaguely French kind of setting. And you decide to open up a the titular tiny bookshop out of this little caravan that's attached to the back of your car. And there is a lot of really cool bookshop management stuff in there, which, you know, if you pair this with Wonderstop as part of my personal arc through the year, the idea of just chucking it all in and taking a box of books to the seaside and selling it out of the back of a car, extremely appealing at the best of times. So I was like very taken by the concept anyway. There's, you know, there is actually a database of books within the game, and one of the mini games within it is customers come in and like they have a very specific set of requirements for a book that they are looking for, and you can kind of go through and recommend them, and it massively helps to have read the books. And I have read a lot of the books in this game, which makes me feel very very smart. I also appreciate the fact that there are 7 different genres, one of which is fact, and most of the fact books are not real. They are made up for the game, because I suspect that, like me, the person who wrote this game has not read that many non-fiction books in comparison to other genres, which is great. But there's also, it's more as well the story of being a newcomer in a very welcoming town, but nevertheless feeling like you're kind of the new person, meeting a whole new group of people who are already very close to each other, kind of forming these relationships without wanting to be someone who's just like an intruder in those relationships, but gradually getting to know everyone individually. There are, I think, 6 or 7 major NPCs and quite a lot of minor NPCs, and then obviously like the kind of generic customers that you get in the shop as well. And getting to know them through their book preferences and through the sort of like mini quests to befriend them and to improve their lives as it takes place over the course of a year. Very Stardew Valley-esque as well. There are certain things you can only do at certain times of year. Everyone has a birthday, and if you can find them at their favourite location on their birthday, there's like unique dialogue for that as well. It's just, I feel like I throw around wholesome too much, but this is a super wholesome game. Like, there's not really too many ways of getting around that. It is a lovely intersection of several things that I'm very enthusiastic about: books, management sims, games where you get to befriend NPCs, places with lovely settings that I wish I could live in, you know. And yeah, I will say as well, I haven't quite finished this game in its totality. I have completed a full year, which if you played it sort of optimally would be enough, I think, to finish the game. But this isn't a game about playing optimally, so I'm okay with the fact that I'm into year 2 before I can really like say I've finished everything. I hope I do get to finish it over Christmas. It feels doable to finish it over Christmas. I'm quite near the end now at 24 hours playtime, I think, which again, it's another one where it's like, in a year when I was flitting all over the place, trying to focus on too many things at once, managing to find a full calendar day to just sit and play Tiny Bookshop really demonstrates how struck I was by this game. Yeah, it's so nice. If you've ever wanted a bookshop management sim, this is the one. They nailed it. Like, yeah, many congratulations to them.
I mean, this is the game. I lost my wife to this game for like a month.
Yeah.
Nothing, I think, speaks to the quality of it quite how much it consumed Yoli every waking moment of her life.
It's hard to put down. It's very much one more day. Friend of the podcast, Nick, will say the same. The number of times I was sat there like, I'm just going to do one more day, and then he's like, has it been another week in game? And it's like, yes, it has been another week in game. Okay, I really want to, you know, hit all the pitches that I want to hit. I want to finish this character's quest. It's so good, but you don't feel a lot of pressure while playing it as well, which is another thing that I really appreciate about this game. It's kind of the opposite of a pressured experience. It is, other than one quest, the one quest where you're trying to fix the van. I had to Google that. A lot of people had to Google that. That was a bit unfair.
Oh, really?
But, I've not gone to that yet.
But yeah. Other than that, we forgive it. It's like the one flaw that they have to put on the sculpture, you know. So that,
yeah. It wouldn't be a number 2 in our game of the year list if it didn't have a flaw.
Ooh,
right?
A single flaw.
Yeah,
but
exactly.
Yeah, yes, it fulfills every step on my hierarchy of needs, basically. So I love this game, and I'm so glad that it stuck the landing, and it thoroughly smashed the demo curse. I feel really good about it. Probably going to try and finish it over Christmas just because it's such a good time.
Oh
yeah.
You can finally then close the book on this Tiny Bookshop saga.
I know we've said this before. We've said this before, but
Hi.
How about a tiny DLC, a new genre perhaps?
Oh, yeah. Epilogue.
I love that.
Yeah, epilogue. Yes.
One genre.
Rachel, pitch it.
Pitch. Yes, very happy for you. This if Skin Deep was Liam coded, Tiny Bookshop was Rebecca coded, 100%.
Yes.
This game was made for you.
This is the Rebecca.
So I'm very happy.
100%.
Very happy for you.
Really highlights how much more of a sophisticated person you are compared to me.
God, no. Not at all. Not at all.
Can't wait to play that. I really need to get around to it, which I will eventually.
I think you will really like it. I think it's got that.
I do as well.
Obviously,
yeah.
there's a lot of book chat on the podcast.
Yeah, true, Liam, actually.
But
there is a sad book genre. Although you can just like decide, because you can like essentially like make your own, decide on your own books and what you decide to shelve. So you could make like a sad book boy van.
You can always recommend sad books.
Sad boy book van. Hi, welcome to Sad Boy Book Van.
Yeah, sad boy book van.
Would you like to read a book about a man who dies? We have many.
Oh man, yeah. I think you'll really enjoy it.
Yeah, me too.
But in the meantime,
right, go on then.
What else have you been really
Kick us
enjoying?
off.
So I really debated about putting this in my list because
Did you?
I haven't finished it. And speaking of breaking rules this year, I've never broken this rule before because I've always put games in that I've finished. It's kind of a rule I have for this podcast. I like to make sure I know it from beginning to end, top to tail, as it were. Because I'm always worried that if a game shits the bed in the last like 4 hours, it can sour the whole experience.
Yeah.
But I'm confident enough to say that when it comes to Hades 2, this game is a banger from beginning to end. So this is by Supergiant Games. It's available on PC and Nintendo Switch at the moment, but I'm sure it'll come to other platforms in due course. This is a sequel to Hades, and it's the first time Supergiant have done a direct sequel to one of their games, and I've been on the record for a long time saying that I'm being a little baby about the fact that they've made a sequel, and after playing this game, as I said in an episode a few weeks ago, I'm incredibly happy that they have, because they've approached this game with the same lens and approach or vision that they do with every other game that they make, which is they just want to make something that is very them and the best version of that genre it possibly could be. So that means that this game is bigger and better than Hades. There are more gods, more weapons, more maps, more NPCs, more mechanics, more systems, more music. It's just more Hades, to the fact where I'd probably say, now that I'm 35 hours into it, I think there's probably twice as much, if not more, content in this than in the original Hades. This is a jam-packed game. But what makes this game so special is that when you first start playing it, I think you realise very quickly that it's got a way more focused narrative than the original, whereas in the original you were a sad boy trying to run away from home, and I wish Zagreus all the best in that endeavour. It made for a compelling narrative. This game, you are the daughter of Hades, who has become removed from her family because the Titan Kronos has taken the house of Hades and waged war against Olympus, and you were saved as a baby from Hecate and taken to a group of witches and raised to learn magic, and from birth your goal is to defeat Kronos, or kill time, which is just very funny for a game to be about killing time. I just think it's a very smart decision. what this means is that it plays on Greek mythology in the same way that the original game did, but in slightly more interesting ways, because you're, instead of being in the House of Hades, you are with this group of witches, which aren't actually part of Greek mythology. They've brought together a lot of the Greek women and given them this sort of like secret sect, and weaved it into other myths, which is very, very interesting. But mechanically, this game is expanded from the original. Now all of your moves can be augmented with magic. You have a mana bar, and when you hold in an attack button, you're able to do a secondary move, which means that there's more synergies to have with boons, because a lot of the boons will do things about your magic techniques. And the weapons themselves are very, very fun. They're all different to the ones that Zagreus had in the first game, to the point where it's actually quite impressive, the different ways that they've managed to expand on that moveset. And I mean, there's just so much in this game to talk about. I think if there was someone missing from the original game from Greek mythology that you thought it was a shame, they're in this game. Nice. And you can be 30 hours into this and we're still finding people from Greek mythology that were like, oh, cool, it's that person. And, you know, because the great thing about Hades was seeing how Supergiant have interpreted these gods and other characters. It's part of the excitement. It's like, okay, well, you know, what does Hercules look like? Heracles, I guess, in this game, you know, Icarus. What do these characters look like? What kind of benefits and boons do they give you for finding them? And I just think that it's kind of a safe bet, this game. And I think if you've played the original, you haven't played this, you might be a bit like, it just sounds like what I've played before. And I think it's being overlooked because of that. I think if people who've played it have been evangelizing it, but I think for a lot of people, maybe it slipped underneath their radar. And I think that's a shame, because this is a truly exceptional game. And I'd love for more people to experience it, because it's just so deep. There's so much to it. So much inventive ideas and routes that it takes, and surprises. This game is full of surprises. There's entire mechanics in this game and systems that I don't even want to mention, because when you find them, it's so fun to play around with them and to discover them yourself. And yeah, and the music, Darren, you've done it again, Darren. It's Mr. Corb. As anyone who's played the early access version will know, one of the first bosses you encounter is Skilla and the Sirens.
Yes.
And the songs they sing, there's more in this version, in the 1.0, and they're all brilliant. And even after 30 hours, still new songs. They'll slowly drip feed into you as you go through. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
They knew how to make a perfect roguelike, and they were like, let's just expand it even further. And it shows. This is a real achievement, and Supergiant deserve all of the awards that I hope they get. But I have a feeling they might be overlooked quite a lot this year, which is a shame.
This is one of my regrets of this year, is not playing this game. I really, there was just much good shit, but after hearing you talk about it before, God, I really wish I put aside more time, because we all played early access and we were quite lukewarm on it.
Yeah.
And then you came back and you were like, guys, actually, guys, listen up. And I wish I'd known that sooner.
Yeah. The thing is, I am 100% convinced, just by the argument you've made, it is more firmly on my list than it ever was on its own thing. If it helps at all, as you were talking about it delightfully, it popped up on my screen that my friend Jay is currently playing Hades 2 right now. He's in game, so someone's found it.
Thank you, Jay. Good.
Go on, Jay.
Good man, Jay. Nice one. Genuinely, I as a fan of the original, but I've never finished the original. It's like very much I will pick it up for a very intense 5-hour period every few years. It's going to take me a while to get to Hades 2, but I'm completely sold by what you've been saying, just on going back and giving it another go, because it does sound very cool.
And they're all hot. Again.
And it's like, I wasn't
they can't be stopped.
When you were like, what do they look like? I'm guessing hot. I'm guessing
they're all hot.
My God. Some of them in this game are like, oh my God. I won't say anything, but anyone who's played it, when you find Dionysus, wow. They just got to
Google something
they were
real
just
quick.
Like,
Me too. How do you
want to search Dionysus? The art for this one, they were like, he's having a pool party. Let me just say that.
Oh, yeah.
It's so good. But I'll tell you what, the biggest surprise for me is, you remember Chaos from the first game?
Yes.
Can you remember that there was a plot in that about how chaos had been separated from humanity for millennia.
I remember something. There's a lot of, they speak quite poetically, don't they?
Yeah. So there's a little like subtle change in this game where in the first game chaos was like this sort of unknowable entity and was visually designed to look like chaotic and weird,
like almost like those biblical angel type things like that. That's
absolutely
the vibe.
That's a really good way of describing it. So a very subtle thing that this game does is because Zagreus spoke to them so much in the original game, they've regained some of the humanity that they lost, and the character in this game is them in a suit looking more human, but they're holding the head of their version from the first game, almost pondering what they've lost, and that's never said explicitly in the game. It's just a visual detail that you notice if you remember what happened in the first game.
Wow.
It's so good.
Also,
for God's sake!
That is incredible. Sorry, I was a little bit distracted
best.
because halfway through that I did find the version of Dionysus that was definitely the one that you were referring to and not the early access version that's in the wiki.
Right?
Yeah.
I mean, all I'll say is good for Dionysus.
Oh, incredible.
God damn it. I play Hades 2 now.
I know,
yesterday.
right? The character designs.
Yeah. I'm really glad not even me. It has to all the awards have to be given to Yoli for this, because I wouldn't have touched it if she hadn't insisted we play it together.
Oh, thank you, Yoli.
Nice one, Yoli. Yeah.
Thanks, Yoli. She hasn't listened for over a year, but I'll tell her when I go downstairs.
Yes, tell her. Oh, that will have to be one for our April catch-up, which we always do every year.
We do
I'd
indeed.
be interested in that.
April catch-up.
We'll revisit it.
We've got a lot booked in for that April catch-up, but I'm looking forward to
We
it.
do.
A great deal.
Christ.
A great deal.
Oh, yeah, so much.
Right.
That brings us, I think, to the
Let's open the doors.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
here we go.
Once again, we haven't quite reached a consensus. We haven't quite reached the lofty heights of Dredge back in 2023.
Oh yeah,
but
true.
We do once again have 2 votes on 2 games that have put them quite high, and so
yes.
Yeah, I think we're going to start. Really just for Liam's sake, because I feel like it's a very un-Christmas thing to make him finish the episode on Blueprints. Rachel and I are going to start on Blueprints.
I think we should end on it, because you both put it in number 1, which I think makes it more of a game of the year than the other game, because I put that at 1, but Rachel put it lower.
I disagree, and I'm driving this week, so...
Yes,
yeah, sorry. Yep. I will.
Wow! Oh my God, Rebecca
I'll stop
saying,
talking.
yeah, that's the character development we wanted this episode.
I love that.
Here's the thing.
Put me on my place.
Right.
Tell me.
Behind the scenes, it's been quite. Again, we can only disagree with each other in the most wholesome of ways. So we have 2 candidates for Game of the Year. Liam has been making the case for the one he didn't vote on, and I've been making the case for the one I didn't vote on. So this is how we argue. It's so nice. It's so goddamn
You are
nice.
you are like subtly telling me off for an outcome that benefits me more, which is a very you thing to do.
I'm not telling you off. I'm just recounting the facts of the situation. But no, genuinely, it's a hard call to make because of various different factors which we'll get into. But basically, Rachel and I both put Blueprints as our indie game of the year. I feel like with slightly different motives at hand, because I know that Rachel, you definitely did put it in the number 1 slot in your list, but I feel like with slightly more reservations than I did the same thing. Maybe I should start, because I'll just give.
I think you should.
I'll just give the Sunshine and Rainbows version of Blueprints basically, and then we can like. We can take it now. Not final.
Well, yeah, okay. I love that.
Blueprints probably doesn't need much of an introduction to people listening to an indie gaming podcast, but just on the off chance, I'll give it a quick recap as much as I can. Blueprints, you play as a young chap, a young fella named Simon Jones, who has, through a classic mystery setup, inherited his great uncle's mansion. But there are certain conditions on his inheritance. It's a 45-room mansion, and Simon has to find room 46 before he can confirm his inheritance. There's not really a time limit on it, but he's got to find it before he's allowed to sleep in the house, which is weird. The major wrinkle, though, to Simon's quest is that the house is essentially a procedurally generated map. It refreshes every day. Every day he walks into the entrance hall, there are 3 doors to either side of, obviously like a square, and then there's the door you came in through, there's one opposite you and then one to either side. Mm-hmm. And depending on what the RNG decides is going to happen, you get a choice of 3 rooms for every door that you go through, and it can be pretty much anything with a few weird exceptions and rules. From a draft pool of, I think, 120 some rooms when you unlock everything.
Oh, yeah. God, there's a lot.
And this is a puzzle game. It's a very kind of immersive adventure-esque puzzle game, but I think it is still a puzzle. There's a lot of solving, a lot of noting down details, and most of it is quite in context. So basically, the way I saw it described when I was looking at discussions of it earlier today to try and pin it down in my mind is everything in the game is there from the start, pretty much. It's a matter of working out how to feed back to the game that you've understood what's going on and what you need to do to progress further. So suffice to say that finding room 46, which most people, I think all of us were around the same sort of like 18 to 20 hour mark is where you find room 46. That is the start of about 150 hours if you decide to literally drill down into everything, which friend of the podcast, Mick, and I did. Very enthusiastic. We love this game. If you're both into puzzles, and especially if you're like me and Mick and you have slightly different, slightly different talents in terms of the exact kind of puzzles that you're good at solving, great couple game. Absolutely top-notch couple game. Because I think both of us would have dropped off at various points.
Yeah.
But the two of us together means that we actually did go through. We've seen, as far as we can tell, everything that's currently in this game. And yeah, I'll let Rachel do her bit in a minute, because I think that it's a slightly different thing for her than it is for me. But the thing that I kind of wanted to say, and that I was alluding to earlier when we were talking about Silence of Blake Manor, which incidentally is the same publisher, a different developer, but the same publisher, and you can kind of feel the curation of those similar games coming through. The two things that I've really realised about my own relationship with gaming this year is that 2 things really make a game for me. Either the cast of characters and or a really strong location. And I just thought that the Mount Holly Manor, with the way that you can kind of puzzle box this building together and explore every room and really get to know the details of every single room and what it does and, the mysteries within it and the puzzles within it, that for me was what kept me coming back. It's just the sense of this home that is not a home, that is really both in and out of universe, this incredibly elaborate puzzle box to make a point and to tell a story, was one of my favourite video game locations in a long time. And it is such a joy to explore. I'm really looking forward to the content update that they hope to do to sort of like finish off a few bits and bobs to getting back into it. It was almost a sad day when I couldn't play it anymore because there was no point anymore. Because it is such a weird and cool, and like the lore that comes through from the location as well, the fact that it's all in this subtly not like ours world, it's very cool. I gotta let someone else talk. I'm gonna let Rachel talk now because I
really liked what you said in a previous episode about your kind of theory about time and how the game and people in the game talk about and experience time and days, quote unquote. I just think I've been thinking a lot about what you said about that, and I think, like, in terms of this game, it will, as much as you put into it, you'll get equal amount out of it, which I think is both good and bad. But I love this game. This game has absolutely engulfed my year. I have thought a lot about this game. I think that's probably the reason why it's my number one, is that, I have a few like criticisms here and there, but ultimately this game has occupied my mind for the best part of like 12 whatever months since we played the demo or whatever. Like, it's just, there's just a lot mechanically going on, and a lot like in terms of puzzles and what it does with puzzles going on, and secrets and layers and all that, like lore and deliciousness and how you discover all that. And I've really enjoyed everything about it, even the more frustration, like the frustration found in the RNG aspects, I've really enjoyed. I'm the same as you, Rebecca. I also played this in co-op, but I say co-op. Henry had a copy, I had a copy, and we would come back together and talk about it, and then go our separate ways again.
I love that we did it the same but slightly differently. You were sort of parallel playing your saves, whereas Mick and I had a single save that we were both working on. So
because I played it before, and then Henry was like, well, I want to play it. So he played his copy and then just zoomed past me. And I was just like, you know what? Sayonara, I'm taking my sweet time. But every time there's a fucking billiard room puzzle dartboard, you are coming in here and solving it for me. Saying that, I can see all the valid criticisms why you would bounce off this game. The RNG is ruthless. And as much as I enjoyed it in the first fucking 50 hours, I think I think my biggest thing is there's diminishing returns with this game. If we talk about the first 10 hours, you discover, I think, hundreds of little secrets, tools, information, story beats. Cool, that's the first 10 hours. The first 20 hours, you'll get maybe 50. And then the more hours you put in, that number gets smaller and smaller. And I think I reached a point for sure where I was doing runs upon runs, 5 hours, 6 hours, and discovering one thing and being like, I finally did it, yay! And then I'd be like, fucking hell, like, to put that much effort in. And I do not like that this game is 100 hours long. I do not. I think that is, I as someone who has enjoyed this game immensely, I do not like this game is long. I don't think it needs to be long. I like the content. I understand the way in which you have to get to that and the time it takes. But like, I don't like that I have to, at one point when I'm over the 60-hour mark, it takes me several hours to get something done. And I think that might be something to me personally as a player, but I also think mechanically, I think there could have, that balance of a puzzle game being like the more you put in, you get out. And as you get better at something, the discoveries should match that level of effort you put in.
Yes.
And so
that's very true.
The surprises are fantastic. They stay at a constant all the way through. But as you put more effort in, those surprises and those twists and turns should increase with that. And Blueprints does not do that.
The big problem, is definitely.
So why would I continue playing?
Yeah, like because you're a completionist and you can't stop. So,
or a sucker for puzzles.
It definitely does reach a point, because there was a point at the sort of like 90+ hour mark where we were solving puzzles. We were getting so excited to solve puzzles, but then we were finding that actually, because of the way it's constructed, it's all to lead you back to the same eventual point. And so we were mopping up things that were actually pointing towards other puzzles we'd already solved through different sort of like clue chains, which did get frustrating. But I will say I completely get everything you're saying. And just to demonstrate how RNG reliant this game is, I think part of my enjoyment of it was that I got either very lucky or I saw through the freaking matrix with this game, because in 99 in-game days, I think I only had maybe 3 days where I felt like I achieved nothing new at the end. The way that the way that the content staggered for me was really satisfying. And there's got to be a large element of luck to that. I just had a really fortunate run through the game where things were unlocking at a very satisfying pace. If you didn't get that, I completely understand why, because I was getting frustrated at the point where I was like, I've cracked the solution to something I solved at hour 20. That's annoying. And, you know, you spent like 3 real world days on it, and it would just be like, oh, it's just looping back because it kind of has to. But
But at the same time, what this game does in terms of like puzzle design and almost the creator's commentary on how we engage with video games. So many times have I seen someone be like, I reached the end, and it's like, no. And not just in case of like Animal, where it's like there's secret endings and whatever. The idea and concept of an ending for a game doesn't exist in Blueprints. Like, me and Rebecca can say that we've seen the end, but like that doesn't mean anything, and that's so difficult to describe without like fucking ruining everything. But the idea of this person, there's like cutscenes that confirm a few things, but ultimately this game is like, it feels like a spiral that you just can't see
which
the
is
end.
one of the images, and one of the recurring images in the game is the spiral.
Which is a spiral.
That doesn't have
And I think it's a really,
so
it's a
very
really
deliberate.
astute.
Very deliberate.
It's a very thematically rich, and I think symbolically it just says, it's just really, it's crafted amazingly. And I respect the hell out of it. And this was definitely my number one for like most, if not all, this year. Even through like the frustrations and like, I just can't stop thinking about it. It even like in a design way as well. I'm just, it's really great. I think it's a fantastic game. I don't think I've played much anything like it, or not anything like it, but like this combination of strategy, puzzle, roguelike, mystery, the story is whatever. The story is a story because it serves the puzzle solving.
Yeah, exactly. But like, there's a whole conlang in there. It's like you're solving puzzles in an invented language. By the time it's just so many layers to go.
I know the language and world history of a place that I don't even, it doesn't exist, but I know the history, and I know who was where and why this place split up, and this person was here, and then that leader went there.
Yeah.
And I know all that now.
Yeah.
It's just in my brain.
I know the traditional folk tales of this invented nation. And
like how I know all the fucking roles on a merchant ship from the 1800s. Now I know this entire lore and history of a imaginary world. The political leanings.
Yeah. Oh my goodness.
Good game.
Yeah.
Too long.
Probably too long, yeah. Could have shaved off 20 hours quite happily.
That's wild when it's like 120 hours long. Like, I should have capped it 100 hours. I have made a lot of jokes about this game over the past, 6-7 months since it came out. What I will say is that I didn't play anything else this year that impressed me as much as this game. I think as a singular vision by someone who wanted to make something specific and did not want to bow to pressures around making sure the game could be played by everyone.
That's a really good point.
Make a game that, learned even from other games in the genre. Blueprints is a singular vision that's almost like stubborn in its position, is wanting to be the game that it is. And I can't help but respect that. I played this for 20 hours. I got to room 46. It made me furious to do it, but no other game made me feel that sense of accomplishment as this did. And I only scratched the surface. I am one of the people who was at the tip of the iceberg and never dove deeper. But this is deserving of being at the top of our list, for sure. It is a very, very, very interesting and unique game, and it is indie games encapsulated. I think it's everything that we love about this little subgenre. It's a singular creator, it's a singular vision, it's trying to do something different. Fuck Simon, but other than that, I've got a soft spot for Herbie. I genuinely do think that this is a flawed masterpiece, is probably what I'd describe it as. And I'm disappointed that I didn't love it as much as you two did.
That always sucks, doesn't it? When like everyone is kind of like into this thing, and you're just like, oh.
Yeah, I mean, this was my experience last year with 1,000 Times Resist, where I did like it, but I couldn't quite love it the same as everyone. Like, extremely like gracious take on the whole thing, Liam, because I know that you were very frustrated with it for a lot of that time.
That's because I'm a big baby. I'm just a dumb baby. That's my problem. But
not at all true.
I've always understood that, like, yeah, it's deserving of the accolades it's gonna get, for sure.
Yeah, I think it's a really good point you make about it not, like, in the most literal sense, not being a game for everyone. Because I read an article on Eurogamer last week about it, which was really interesting because, like, obviously, fucking Anglophone privilege, it never even occurred to me that this game is untranslatable.
Yeah.
And so that's
it can't be translated.
It's because there are so many linguistic puzzles that rely on the rhythm and the syntax and the construction of the English language that it's the only game, I think it's the only game in a bunch of Game Awards nominees. That we're recording this a few days before the Game Awards, by the way. So I don't know if it won anything, but it is the only one where there was just no data on the translation side, when someone compiled a list, because it is essentially like and again, as you say, the refusal to compromise. Refusal, harsh word. Just the having the singular vision. So much of this game relies on language puzzles that to say, I'm going to make it so that only someone who is relatively fluent in English can play it is a trade-off, right? And that, it's almost controversial in its like almost an accessibility issue, but at the same time, imagine a world where you couldn't have language puzzles because they can't be translated like across the board, and it's just
It's the Dark Souls of indie games, and I mean that in the sense of it's uncompromising in its vision, despite accessibility complaints. And
yeah, absolutely. And I still think it's just absolutely fascinating, and it's an all-timer for sure. It's one that's going to stick with me for a long, long time.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. I think it'd be one for me as well.
Yeah,
for sure.
So our final game we're going to talk about, my number 1, Rachel's number 3, is Promise Mascot Agency. This is by Kaizen. This is by Kaizen Gameworks. They are the creators of Paradise Killer. This is their second game, one that Rachel and I played at the start of the year and sent each other Discord messages being like, I think they might have shit the bed on this one. I'm not sure it's for us. And we ate our words, because when this game came out, it ended up being an absolute banger. In this game, you play as Michi, who is a Yakuza hard man who, after losing a bunch of money during a business deal, is exiled to a island community called Kasomachi, which is well known for having a curse on it, where if any young Yakuza men enter the island, they are killed by a mysterious disease and illness. There, Michi is given the task of running a mascot agency where he meets Pinky. Pinky is a sentient mascot creature, because in this world, mascots, the big foam suits that people wear when they open up supermarkets, they are real, living, sentient beings. And in this world, they have been cast aside, especially in the town of Kazomachi, and especially Pinky, who is the daughter of one of the...
What the fuck is this game?
I know, one of the Yakuza members that Michi used to work with.
Yes.
So this game is bonkers. I think we'll just go ahead and say that right now. This game is absolutely daft as hell. You spend your time driving around. The only way you interact with this world is by driving around in a van that has Pinky on the back of it, who screams every time you gently brush against any kind of environment. And you recruit mascots around the town, and then you send them on jobs. The other half of the game is a management game where you'll send one out on a job to open up a sex shop or a bakery or a school. Yeah. It really does run the gamut and kind of places where you send them to. And then sometimes if you don't give them spaghetti or sushi, they might get in trouble, in which case you've got to play a pretty mid card game, to be honest, in order to succeed. But the joy of this game, I think, is, for me anyway, it's threefold, and maybe Rachel will agree. I think no one is making games like this, for starters. I think Kaizen are making, and this is in their own words, PS2 hangout games, which is entirely my shit.
Yeah.
There's almost like a budgetary scale to this game that's like enviably good. It just does everything it needs to do with the resources and the scope that it has available to it, and it's all the better for it. I think the characters are absolutely iconic in this. I think Michi is hot as hell, and Pinky is chaotic as hell, and the pairing of them together is just fantastic, and they'll always have a place in my heart for that reason. Kazomachi, just on the point of just the vibes, is such a... We've talked about this so many times on the podcast, Rachel. It's such a believable place, and this idea that you're there to replenish it and make it thrive again is so realistic in its depiction, because you never make it fantastic or like super popular. You just make it livable and feasible for the community that's already there. And I just think as a story about a small town community, that's such an important one these days, of sort of fighting back against larger capitalistic ideas and just to try and create a living space that keeps everyone safe, happy and healthy, which is wild to say, considering this is a game where you literally find like a square, like one of the mascots is just a square with like sexy legs sticking out of it that keeps trying to sleep with the main character in a way that's actually quite moving and interesting, as like an emotional
she's
turn.
cool.
But also, I think the last thing I'll say about this game that I really loved is it distills the experience of playing a 100-hour open world game into less than 20 hours. And it does that with the breathless pace that you'd expect from those kind of games. It is a map marker game. You will look at your map and it'll be full of shite to find. But because the world is quite small, and again, because that scope is so well considered and realized, it's just a really good hang to scoot around in your van and to find bin bags and signs of the old man mayor, because this game has like a really big local politics side to it as well, which is very funny. I think this is my favorite game of the year because it is so heartfelt and so weird that the combination of the two makes something that is just so sincere. It just spoke to me on every perceivable level. I think this is a genuine masterpiece of a game. I fucking love it. And Kaizen, no matter what they do next, I'm there day one. I should never have doubted you.
I feel the same. I feel like, I know when we were playing it, I was a bit like, oh, I don't know, but I can't believe we even questioned it. This is like, honest to God, I've not played anything like this game in my life. And it is a good hang. Like, yeah, there's like management elements to it, but a lot of the time you're just tooting around, kind of task ticking and sending your mascots out. And honestly, the characters and their stories, like, these mascots aren't just like, oh yeah, there's a character, there's like all these characters and you just kind of like send them out. They all have their own little character arcs, and a lot of them are just really great. I love the tofu so much. The crying tofu. Tofu is so cute. Just like someone who's like crying all the time, but just doing their best. And I was like, I love you. And Pinky as a character, like you've said, is like incredible. I love her so much.
She's an icon.
She is an actual icon.
Have you seen this plushie
she's
now?
so fucking good.
By the way,
I have. There's such a cursed.
Oh my God.
I mean, just in case like anyone didn't get, like, she is a severed pinky finger. That's like her thing. Her name is Pinky because she's a pinky finger. So like, just in case you didn't catch that, like, it's incredible. Like, I just, everything you said, absolutely. I couldn't agree more. And it is very laid back. I found myself really relaxing into this game. I had a lot of fun. It's very, there's not a lot of friction, and I love that a lot. And you can just dip into different aspects of the game that you like at your own pace. You do have to keep up with one aspect of it, which is like earning money to stop the accuser from like killing your mob boss, essentially. But it's not ever that that's not frustrating aspect at all. I remember messaging Liam being like, is this going to be a problem for me? And you were like, nah, don't worry too much about it. It's fine.
I think it's really funny that I'd forgotten that was part of the game, actually.
Yeah, it's just really, it's just such a good game. And I just think there's an absurdity to it, which is very funny, and it's used, you know, for a lot of like the punchlines of jokes and for comedy, and oh yeah, it's a tofu block who's got stuck in between the sliding doors of a convenient mart, and that's very funny, which is so cute and just hilarious. But then like for Kaizen just to be like, oh yeah, and guess what, you're gonna care about these characters deeply a lot at the end of this game, and it is about like found family, and I love that. And I just, it has all the hallmarks, and maybe I've said this before, of like Yakuza mob movies and TV shows, and it does still have all that, but it's just with a bunch of freaks. And I love them all. Honestly, I think the reason why, it's just, it's a great game. The story's awesome, and there really is nothing like it. There's there's nothing else even remotely. It's so original. Like, it's same with Paradise Killer. It's like, So good. And the fact they're so different as well. And I just can't wait to see what comes next. Like I'm like you, I'm like salivating. I'm like, what are you making next? You cook. You like, it could be about anything. Like literally, I can't even imagine what they're considering doing next. Like
No.
I'm so excited. I'm excited about Kaizen. It's so fresh. This game is fresh as fuck.
Yeah.
So if you want a good hang, something different, heartfelt, also kind of funny, very absurd, give it a go. And you're so right about the open world thing. Like I feel like I've played a big game, but it's not that long. And I love Kaizomachi. I can close my eyes. I can drive around.
Same.
I'm literally I can picture it so clearly. God damn. Yeah, such a good game. I can't contribute any more than just loudly repeating what you just said in a more excited just
I like it. That's what this game deserves, a hype man.
I'd like to jump in with my little bit on this game, which is that this has been my kind of cheeky, I didn't put it on my list because I knew that at least one of you would have it on your list, and so I felt quite secure. I have had a cursed time trying to play this game this year. Every time I've started it, something's come up that means I had to bench it. I have enjoyed thoroughly the first 2 hours, which I've seen multiple times now. I'm hoping that now that we've done the Game of the Year episode, the pressure's off, the curse is lifted, I can play it over Christmas and just enjoy it.
Yeah.
Because I know it's going to be up there for me as well, but I was like, in all honesty, I've not seen enough. As you said, Liam, it's like really hard to, when you don't feel you've seen enough of a game to put it in your top list yet, which is kind of where I was at with this. But this is why, despite having not technically put it on my list, I was there pushing for this to be our Game of the Year. And I would actually like to, I don't know if you guys have seen this, but since I haven't been able to finish it, I would like to instead recruit certified Corganics on Steam, who have put up a review so iconic that Kaiser Gameworks reskeeted it on Blue Sky the other day, and it makes me laugh every time I see it. So
what? Okay.
I'm going to read this out. Thank you, Certified Corganics, for putting this so well. Great little game, super fun, very relaxing. My one issue is that my mum ended up with a crush on Salary Nyan, and now she's a furry for Japanese mascots. She wants to know if you'll be making a dating sim revolving around the mascots. Please don't. Thank you, but keep up the good work.
Please don't.
My God. Amazing.
And I'm like, I think, you know.
That's a choice, but
that's
that is
like,
love
it.
That has encapsulated what I've enjoyed about this game so far, what I expect to enjoy about the rest of this game. Like, I'm into it. I couldn't really justify putting it on my list until the universe will actually, like, it's been cursed every time I've tried to sit down and play this, something has happened that meant I just couldn't.
Well, I think what is probably an interesting thing to highlight here at the end of this episode is both of our games that we've deemed to be the best of the year came out on the same fucking day.
I know, right?
Yes!
Isn't that interesting? Is April 10th the new May 9th? What was it last year? Indiepocalypse?
It was, it was.
Oh, okay.
I forgot about that.
April 10th, May 9th.
That's why you didn't have time to play it, Rebecca, because it came out the same day as Blueprint.
That's so true. Therefore, though, next year, March the 11th should be a big day, right?
Oh, okay.
So,
let's remember that.
Prediction.
Because it's so funny. Yeah.
Anyway.
That is
interesting.
What?
That is
I
crazy,
forgot about that. Wow.
Hold on. I have to look at
Damn.
I was looking at my 2026 list. Is anything out for March? No, not yet. Nothing yet for March the 11th on my radar.
I can't think about 2026. I can't think about it.
Right.
We've literally just finished the last entry in our Game of the Year episode, and now we're talking about 2026 already.
I know.
We've got to have Christmas first.
We do.
We've got to just get Christmas out of the way before we come back onto it.
Yes. Wow, what a group!
I know.
Hell yeah.
This is a
really
lovely list. I love
selection.
this list.
Fuck yeah.
Me too.
I'm very excited about this list. Everything on there is so interesting.
Do you want to read out all the games one last time, Rebecca?
Okay.
Wrap up?
So, yes. In ascending order until we reach our games of the year, we have Monster Prom 4 Monster Con, Peak, The Seance of Blake Manor, Neurocarbe World, Skin Deep, Golden Idol Investigations DLC series, Wonderstop, Citizen Sleeper 2, Tiny Bookshop, Hades 2, Blueprints, and Promise Mascot Agency.
Oh, what a list.
I know,
Yeah.
right?
done.
That's a great
Fuck
list.
yeah.
We've
love that.
smashed it this year.
Love that.
We've done it
list.
again.
We really have. We are so correct every year.
I know, it's amazing. It's beautiful. I love that list. When we all put our votes in the chat earlier, and I like assembled it into that sort of running order, I was like, that looks great. I love that it goes from
Yeah.
It really
like a
does.
few more niche and sort of newer picks, and then like building up to the very great ending of Blueprints and Promise Mascot Agency as sort of joint
Fuck
games
yeah.
of the year. It was like, that looks great. That looks really nice. Anyway, I love a good list, and that is a good list. So
Happy with that.
Absolutely.
the only thing left to do is to very quickly go through our hyperfixations, I suppose. And if you don't mind, I'm once again going to pull rank and go first because, quite simply, I've been watching Stranger Things 5, and that's it. Like Stranger Things 5.
Yeah?
It's good.
Any good?
I'm enjoying it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Sweet.
Like, it does not need me to analyse it, to big it up. None of this is necessary. I've been watching Stranger Things 5. Go look at the rest of the internet if you would like more context for what I've been experiencing.
Yeah!
There we are.
I can go into the same energy as you for my hyperfixation. I've been playing Super Mario Galaxy, the version they've released for the Switch too. It's good. Yep, it still remains one of the best games of all time. Very fun. Spring Mario can go fuck himself. But other than that, good game.
Amazing.
Big fan. Yeah, that's mine.
Okay. And it was the finale of The Chair Company in the last week or two. Go watch that. And that's all I'll say on that.
Great TV show. Yeah, so it defies explanation that this is as deep as we can get into it, but I also very much enjoyed that series and very much enjoyed us messaging each other about it with just what the fuck every week.
That's very exciting.
Good show. Give it a go.
Nice. Show. Gosh, you can tell
awesome.
We're all you can tell we're all D-mob happy for Christmas in that we just did hyperfixations in, I think, under 30 seconds, which is
I know, that was incredible.
Fastest hyperfixations we've ever done.
But like, seriously, I'm like, I watched 4 episodes of Stranger Things over the weekend. It was most of the evenings that I spent this weekend. What else is there to say? Everyone's talking about it. They either love it or they hate it at the end. Like,
I want to see it. I need to watch it.
True.
I recommend it. I recommend it. Just, you got to remember, the one thing I will say is you got to remember, Netflix prestige shows are still just Netflix shows. Don't go in expecting like the greatest art. Just enjoy it. It's good.
Which is why it's so exciting that they'll own HBO soon.
Will they though? Because that's been all. Today is the day when
Warner Bros.
Yeah.
Today is the day when Paramount made their counteroffer when we're recording, by the way, so nobody knows what's happening with that at the moment.
Which is very funny because Netflix emailed me telling them about the deal they've just made. So if it doesn't go through now,
I know.
Funny.
I got it as well. Yeah, I got that email. I'm like, oh.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
Wow. Drama. The girls are fighting.
Yeah, right.
They are. The corporations are fighting again.
Good news.
Whoever wins, we lose.
Alternatively, it's just the meme of the 2 worst people you know are fighting.
Oh.
Yeah, she says, still giving some money to a lot of the corporations she describes as the worst, but that's a conversation for another day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, what an amazing episode. Well done, you two. I always love these episodes. It's always nice to wrap up the year. Me too. But it was also terrifying that when I was writing notes for this episode, I was like, wasn't it like 2 seconds ago we're recording our games we're looking forward to in 2025 episode?
It is.
I know.
I know that we say this every year, especially post-pandemic, but like my sense of time is shot to absolute hell. I've got clearer memories of most of January than I have of the rest of the year, and that's really quite distressing in a lot of ways. It's like just January to December with just like a sort of hazy midpoint that was the other 10 months. And
Tell me about it.
Yes.
Well, thank you for listening. If you've had 10 months of haziness, make sure you join our Discord and email us at contact@indieventurepodcast.co.uk. We want to know what your favourite games of the year were. So please do.
I genuinely want to know what your guys' games of the year are.
In the chat. The chats on there are so good. I will also just say as a bit of a teaser that we've had some listener questions that we really liked, but this episode has run really long. So we're going to probably do a bit of a blog post to accompany this episode. That will address some of those kind of like seasonally related questions. So please look on the blog for that at indieventurepodcast.co.uk. Hopefully, same day as this episode. That's what we're aiming for. We'll see. It's Christmas. Give us a bit of a break. Come on, we do this for free. But And I think that's probably all that remains to say is Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, have a peaceful end of the year, and we look forward to seeing you again in 2026, which is a future year that doesn't exist and isn't real, and it's just numbers.
Oh, God.
It's just a random dice roll of numbers. It means nothing, but 2026 is what we're heading into somehow, and we'll see you all there.
Bye!
Our 4th year of podcasting. Bye!
Oh, my God! Yes! Ugh.
Indieventure is a video games podcast created, produced, hosted, and edited by Rachel Watts, Rebecca Jones, and me, Liam Richardson. For more information, including a list of every game we mentioned in this episode, make sure to check out our website, indieventurepodcast.co.uk. You can get in touch by sending your questions, comments, and feedback to contact@indieventurepodcast.co.uk. You can support the show by rating us 5 stars and leaving a review on Apple Podcasts or your preferred podcast provider of choice. Some of the games we talk about on the show may have been provided to us for free for review consideration. Our intro music and stings were composed for us by Ollie Newbury. Check the episode description to hear more of his excellent tunes. Thanks so much for listening, and we'll see you again in 2 weeks for another episode of Indieventure. Bye for now.